Hello, I am Gregory the Poor Typist, and welcome to another edition of Typewriter Club Live. You may notice things are a little bit different here. I'm trying different software, switching back to OBS. We'll see how this goes. And yeah, different graphics, and hopefully YouTube chat is going to appear on the screen if all goes well. I will remind you that TypePals is and always will be free. So if you enjoy exchanging letters or postcards using your typewriter, feel free to join us at typepals.com. And in the past, I've been saying typepals.com/join, but it's actually join-us. So just go to typepals.com. It'll be easier. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm excited to see if the YouTube chat is going to appear on the screen. So that should be interesting. So if you are watching on YouTube, feel free to post a comment. Yes, let's see. Open that and allow. Oops, there we go. Yes, okay. I threw myself off, but yes. Robert, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Because I have a speaker here, so I don't know if the microphone works or not, but probably
Okay.
it works. Well, nice. Well, I'm quite fine. Yes. Not very busy right now in the week. As I'm on some studying, and so I have a lot of work and preparing. On Friday, I had to hold a presentation. I had to prepare, so only a few times to work with my love typewriters. But now I'm happy to be here. I think I missed the last 2 times of the meeting. Was quite surprised that the time shifted 1 hour later, so you have more time to wake up, and I'm more close to bedtime. But that's normal. It works. It's okay. Quite fine. Yes, nice topic you've seen, and I just thought that build up 2 of my electrics. I have some. As I started collecting, I thought, no, never get an electric, never. And then I bought here close to my neighborhood a Royal 200, a really fine little typewriter, manual. And he said, hey, got here one of these daisy wheel writers. Do you want it? And I said, no, I don't want to collect it. So I would throw it away. I said, come on, give it over to me. So this was my first electric machine. It is a daisy wheel machine, and really it's not fine. I don't like it. It's very loud, and it's nothing. Only one advantage, really, you can change the typeset and maybe get lots of these wheels. But no, I don't like it, and it's really very light and plastic. So much more interesting are these thermal typewriters. Joe presented a lot of them, and though even I got 2 or 3 of them now. But I think now, and then I was really curious about how would be an electric typewriter with type bars. And so I looked around here in the neighborhood because they're quite expensive to ship. And so I have 2 machines here to present. I think I would, I even got a Smith Corona, but I think you know already everything about Smith Corona. Why should I present you a Smith Corona, which is probably in fact in your whatever store? So I thought I'd bring up 2 interesting machines from Germany. I will turn the camera, just it is very good where's my camera. I will have to take a look at this strange machine here because everything is difficult.
And with your microphone, I don't know if you could put it more in front of you because it's slightly muffled.
Better now? Is it better now?
Maybe a little bit.
Wait, or is it now better now?
Yeah.
Is the microphone in here? Is it? Is there a microphone in? Hello, microphone? I don't know. Okay, well, it's okay. So now I try to.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Thank you. So I take the back camera, and then I will introduce my. This is an Olympia reporter. Really one of these machines from the 80s.
Oh, let me zoom in on you.
Nakajima.
Yes, I think it's something made in Japan. It's not built.
Yeah.
It's quite a solid machine. It was really cheap, but it has one fine thing I found as I bought it. It has something like this cubic typeface.
Oh, cool.
It's not so fine adjusted, so I have to do some adjustment. You see, the top is a bit pale, so I have to adjust it a bit with the carriage. But this I will do later. I have so many work of it, and very happy because as I bought it, it didn't work, and so I checked YouTube and checked several pages, and then they said you can just use an O-ring as a rubber, and so I bought one of these O-rings, and now you hear the sound, and you see it works.
Oh.
Really perfect. But the typeface is not so fine. The adjustment, so that's a bit worth it. But it's in a fine condition. I think it took 20 years. I think that's a fair price for this little toy. Plastic. And I think it's really typical Nakajima made, as you see. But it's really a good light machine for even heavy use, I think. It's quite nice. So I took it off, so you won't have this sound anymore. This is the one machine, the first machine I would want to present. The other one is something iconic here in Germany. Really in a bad shape. It's an Adler Gabriele 2000. And it has really a bit of spaceshipy sign. And as I was doing some research on this machine, it was really used in a science fiction movie as a prop. I have to find out which it was, or maybe you will find it. It was one of these because it looked a bit, futuristic. There are some issues. The automatic carriage return doesn't work. I found out the inner belt is strangled or doesn't work very fine. So a bit of work, but nice, lovely machine. I don't want to use it now, or do you want to? Then I will do. But it's really a nice machine so far. These are my two German electric typewriters. Do you know the Olivetti Lettera 36? It's an Italian machine. I can present also an electric. You see, the problem is once you start with these things, you have a problem. And there are lots of them. Here it is. Give me a second. So I'll show you. This is a very fine machine because it has a really tight keyboard.
Oh, yes, that one.
Really narrow. So when it works, you can really type very, very fast on this thing. But the problem is, as you see, it's very high, the keyboard, so you have a bad angle with your wrist. So for longer typing, you really need to place something here. Otherwise, your wrist will hang and this doesn't feel well. But it's not electric. It's a Valentine electric, so to say. So that's from my electric thing. Now I turn myself around. You can see this strange little guy with the brown hoodie again. Here he is. And yes, I got to go to the hairdresser, I know. Yeah, it's really ambivalent with the electric machine because as I was writing many texts with my normal manual type here on my forearm, and I really had some struggle with it. And with these machines, you can even write without any problems for your for your hands and your fingers. But I think we have to preserve both of these kinds of machines.
Yes.
The market is very good here in Germany. So when I'm looking on things like Goodwill, you find a lot of them, these machines. What I'm looking for is I think it's an Olympia Reporter. There's a difference in it. This is more an office electric machine. which I think is very sophisticated and well built. This is one on my bucket list a little bit, but not I'm not so forced on it because I really have to downsize my collection. It's too much I have here, and many machines I have to work on, and here's an issue, and this I want to do. I have many of them to be cleaned in the garden with air compressors and so. And on the other hand, I have a lot of the other private things. So really, I have to get a bit more busy. Yes, that's the thing I could report. And yes, nothing more to say right now. I will receive, as I said, I have to downsize a Mercedes Prima. This is was similar to the Underwood tree, the German way of this, but with a four-bank keyboard, or very tiny machine. I hope it won't spend too much space for me. I'm really afraid of it. 10 euros to pay for a machine, just to pick up in the neighborhood. Yes, but it's not an electric. And now today we will talk about electrics. So let's keep on with your electrics. And here's in Germany another Smith Corona with the old one with the round curve, and this is nothing. But it's too expensive for me. I will wait if the price drops a bit more, and if not, then not.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all for now. And so I would like to be listening to what you all have to say. And yes, I'm listening now. And okay, 7 p.m. now, so a lot of time to bed. So yeah. Or any questions for me? No questions?
No. It's definitely good to see you, though.
Yes, I always like it, and yes, the last Sundays I had other things to do. We were invited, and it really missed to me. It's kind of a ritual for me to sit here and listen to you and talk to you, and that's really a nice bunch of people, and all of the same interests or other interests, counting pens and other old office stuff. Really a good habit to be some days here. So, good morning to you all. I hope you're all fine and the weather is okay. I think in America there are problems with snow or something. Here is in Germany, with really the spring starting. So some shrubs are already starting to bloom. You feel in the evening when it's really warm, you listen to the birds start to sing. At night it's quite cold, about 0 degrees Celsius. But I can't compare it or not. So, but you really feel the sun starts to get powered, and so not too bad here. Okay,
That's good.
thanks very much.
That's good. Thank you, Robert.
Yes,
It's so good seeing you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you always to all of you. Okay, I'm off.
Hi, Susan. How are you? You're muted.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm fine. I used this opportunity this morning to write on my Hermes 10,
Nice.
which was my first electric type bar machine. And I still love that machine. And I have 3 electric machines, and all of them are ones that are ones that Joe Van Cleef has. I have the Hermes 10, and I got that one before I knew Joe Van Cleef had a Hermes 10. It was my first Hermes, and I really wasn't interested in buying an electric machine, but it came with so much great stuff, like a dust cover and a case and an owner's manual and a cleaning kit. And I only buy in the wild, so I wasn't sure I'd ever find a Hermes typewriter. Now I have tons, but yeah, so I bought it and I love it. I still love it. And I have a 5TE, a Smith Corona 5TE. And of course I have Rosie, this electric. And I would say that my fastest typewriter is definitely, I type the fastest on Rosie, for sure. I don't know if I assume I do make fewer mistakes on electrics than I do on manual machines. And I'm sure that's totally related to my typing style. But I do sometimes make mistakes on Rosie simply because she's faster than my brain. So those are the kinds of mistakes that I make. But I love them all. I'm glad I got them, and I do enjoy typing on them. Although I have to say that I tend to get the Selectric out more than the electric type bar ones now, just because I can change the type elements, and that's always fun. So it was fun for me today to type on the Hermes 10. I did buy 2 new machines this week. Well, actually, my husband bought them, but it's the same difference. And the thing that's interesting about them is that I got them in the wild, and they both have math keyboards. One was a Smith Corona Silent from 1952, and I was really going to leave it there, but my husband was enamored with it, and so he ended up negotiating a better price, and before I knew it, he had already put it in the car. And the other one is partially because of Brian Good. It's an Underwood 18. So it's a Parva Magnus, I think.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
Parva, yeah.
Well, Antares is what you think.
Yeah, an Antares Magnus.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's-
remember, you brought the Antares Parva to the
Uh-huh.
type in, and so
Yeah, I've got an Underwood 18 too.
yeah,
Yeah, they're cool.
yeah, it's different. And it was made in Italy, and it has a math keyboard, and I didn't notice that until I actually
Neat.
got it home and started cleaning it and looked at it, and it has a division sign, and it has a few math symbols and a degree marks. I always love the degree mark. I have it on the SG1 because then I can talk about the weather, and
Sure.
that's always fun. But I've never seen a math keyboard before, and suddenly this week I saw 2. So how weird is that?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, the Underwood, I only paid $10 for it.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of, in my opinion, it's a little janky.
Yeah, they're a little loose and
Yeah.
rattly.
Yeah.
It's how they all are from the factory.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah,
Then I don't have to worry.
They're not
that-
really inspiring to type on, but they work. It
Oh
seems
yeah,
like-
it works. It works.
like,
It types, and it's great. I was really looking for a typewriter because I was thinking that I would like to get a typewriter custom painted. And
Oh.
I was thinking of, if I bought a cheap one like this one,
Mhm.
I could send it to Garen Hot Rod Typewriters and just pay for the paint job
Good.
and not pay $1,000 for the typewriter with the paint job.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't talked to him yet about doing it, but I was kind of thinking about that. I thought that would be kind of cool.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that develops. But yeah, I never had seen a math keyboard before, and it was a lot of fun to see one and type with it. The little Smith Corona, amazingly, is in it's in very good condition. It didn't even have white stuff on the keys or anything.
Nice.
And it's one of those kind of ugly ones that's brown, which is not even a pretty brown like the Olympia brown, but it has the 2-tone green keys. And an elite typeface, so it's really a tiny typeface. But yeah, but I love my electric typewriters. I would never give them up, and I don't know why I was hesitant to get one in the first place.
I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why, except for some reason, I thought they weren't as cool, but it turns out they are, every bit.
Excellent.
And that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. I've personally, I've pretty much embraced all types of computers. Well, I would say I even embrace the old antique ones, but those are the ones that make me nervous. So I haven't quite embraced them, but I see them as a very good part of our typewriter history, and I leave them to people more capable than myself to
Well, I like
to
looking at
take
the
care of
old
them.
ones, and we have a lot of
Yes.
people at the type-ins that bring in the old ones that are restoring Oliver Nines, for example, and like Colby, does and everything. But no, that's not for me. They're not, to me, they're not as fun to type on. And there's a lot of people that love to type on the Royal Peas, for example. We have a lot of those collectors in my area, but I don't like them. I've been able to use them at the type-ins, and I know that I don't really, I would look at them and they look nice, but they're not worth it to me, the expense just to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I tend to go for really, I tend to go for Hermes and Olympia. That's what I really love. And that's what I tend to type on all the time. And that's what's most comfortable. And I think that eventually you realize what you really enjoy. And that's where your lane is.
Yeah.
And that's my lane. Unfortunately for me, my husband just recently kind of got bitten by the typewriter bug. Now, I've been collecting since 2017. And he's been going with me to these sales, and he has supported me in my hobby. But once we started having type-ins and he started talking to other people, he really has gotten kind of bitten by the bug. And so he's at a completely different place than I am. He's at the Save Them All place that I was at in 2017.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
now I'm at a place where I'm like, okay, I don't really want that one. And he used to listen to me, but now he doesn't listen to me anymore. Now he goes off on his own and negotiates other prices, and then comes back and says, look what I did. I got this for you. And I go, oh, okay. But that's okay, because I enjoy that he's being more creative, because he's really started writing with them. And so he's
Nice.
still discovering what he likes, where I kind of already knew what I liked.
Yeah.
And so that's a very interesting thing, when that happens.
Yes. Yeah.
See-
I'm still waiting for my wife to join in the hobby, but
Well, like I said, we go to these sales together. And so,
yeah.
he will look for me, and has found me typewriters that I would have missed that were up on a high shelf, because he's 6'5" and
Yeah.
I'm 5'3". So if it's up high, I tend to not see it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll go, oh, Ron, I really don't want that. I'm not going to use it. And he'll just say, well, that's what you say right now, but when we get home, you might have changed your mind. So let's see if we can't get it cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it's fun. It's fun to have something that you share like that. And of course, he helps me with the type-ins and everything. And,
Mhm.
he knows people, and yes, it is fun to share a hobby.
Yeah. Excellent.
Susan, when it comes to which typewriter you like the best, the term I use is that there are some machines with which you mesh better than others.
I agree.
Like teeth in a gear. If you mesh perfectly, it suits you. If you don't mesh with it, no matter how hard you try, you just can't, get in gear with it.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I mean, for me, it's like, I call it the feeling when I sit at a Hermes typewriter, the key tops just fit my fingers so perfectly that I'm really able to enjoy the typewriter experience. I don't worry that I don't have to concentrate as hard. I just can write a lot better. And that's all of them except for the Rocket.
Mhm,
I do
yes.
not like the Rocket. I have one, do not like it. I prefer my Olympia SF Deluxe to the Rocket. It's it's sturdier. It's built sturdier, and I prefer my SF Deluxe. So in ultra portables, I do prefer the Olympia, and I love Olympias. They have that springy. I mean, I like the ones with the springs on the key tops, the SM series. I have an SM9. my husband likes that one and it types great, but that's not really my favorite. I like the SM3s and 4s. But yeah, I agree with you. There are things that you decide that you really like, and that tends to be your lane.
Yeah. Putting the Olympia SF Deluxe beside the Hermes Rocket, they're not, to me, they're not really the same category. The SF Deluxe is, well, it's a beautiful little machine. Whereas the Rocket is kind of a grab it, go, type a quick note or whatever, and carry on. Whereas
It
the SF
depends on
Deluxe,
how you use it. Because for me, my SF Deluxe is my grab it and go. It travels everywhere with me.
yeah,
And I use it out in my front yard. I use it in my back patio. I take it to vacation. I mean, it is the one that goes with me everywhere because it's the one I like to type on. And it doesn't really weigh that much,
no.
you know. But I agree with you 100%. There's Smith Corona people, there's Royal people, and there's some people that can manage all of those. I just tend to gravitate towards my beloved Hermes.
Mhm.
And it doesn't hurt that they're beautiful too.
Yes, yes. Ted Monk says, a man drives a plane into the Chrysler building.
Oh.
Interesting. Yeah, I did get the chat working, so it's popping up there. I had to like put it on the whole screen because by the time I'm just taking up a portion of the screen, it would be pretty small. So, but you don't need to see my face anyway. So when the chat pops up, it'll cover me. Yeah, but that's some good input there, Susan, and it's good seeing you.
It's good to see you too, Gregory.
Excellent. Joe, so your video inspired the topic today.
I know, isn't that funny? Well, I was going to actually use the cornet here, but I decided to bring out the Singer because it hasn't had enough attention. And, so yeah, the Singer it's a SEM and it's similar colors, but it's a manual carriage return, right? So yeah. Well, yeah, it was fun of you to do this topic, but I have all of my electric typewriters here in my studio right now because I did that one electric typewriter comparison, the rodeo video a couple weeks ago, and I had borrowed 2 machines from my brothers, including the Hermes 10, right? There you go, Susan, which is our family typewriter that I used when I was a kid, and then of course the Cornet Automatic 12, which I really ended up liking a whole lot because this particular Singer still has 1, 2, and 3 line spacing, but the Cornet is 1, 1.5, and 2. It was a newer Smith Corona model where they had half line spacing, which is kind of nice because Smith Corona didn't do that very often. Up until later in the 60s, I guess. But so yeah, so the topic of how fast we can type and what was our favorite electric typewriter, I guess, is that what the official topic is? Did I get that?
No, yeah, just fewer typos, manual versus electric. And you kind of give your opinion in your video, but was there anything you wanted to add on the topic?
Well, I was going to say that as I was listening to people talking just now, and I'm writing a letter to Sterling Carter, I made a bunch of mistakes here, and I'm using but I discovered that I was really typing fast, like touch typing style. And so I'm just making the silly, and it's the same thing that I mentioned on the video. It's the keys are so easy to press that if you don't even think about it, you're going to hit the wrong key if you're not really precise with it. So for me, with these machines, it's just a matter of being a little more careful. When I type really fast on a computer keyboard, it's typically like backspace. I'm over typing my accuracy, and I'm constantly backspacing, correcting because I'm going so fast. And I kind of tend to do that with the electrics as well. So if I just slow down a little bit, I'm actually faster. And that's kind of one of the points I made in the video. But yeah, I have to remind myself of that even with these. So And I do like, actually, the other thing about electrics I like is even with a half-worn ribbon, you can still get a pretty decent imprint just because they hit the page hard enough. Like this one is set to the copy setting is set to 1, and I have the touch control pretty light, but it still hits pretty hard, you know, and
Yeah.
and that's kind of nice, right? It is nice to have a dark imprint. So with very
Definitely.
little finger force required.
Yes, yes. And it would be more consistent as well.
Yes, more consistent. So,
Because
but
that's definitely
writing letter. Go ahead.
that's definitely one one of the things I notice in my own typing on a manual typewriter is the imprint is very inconsistent, which I don't mind, but yeah, if you're going for a much more consistent and clean look, you definitely want that nice even
Yeah.
imprint.
I've been noticing that with a lot of manuals is if you don't hit the keys with the same force all the time, you'll get, as you say, inconsistent imprint. And sometimes I get really obsessive about going back, pushing the carriage back and retyping the same letter to get it a little bit darker, you know, and some of that is just sloppy keying technique. Like you don't hit the key in the center of it, you hit it near the edge, and it doesn't quite give you the same force, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but so I've been writing a number of letters trying to get caught up again, and I have been using electrics for some of this, so it is a lot of fun using electrics for letter writing.
Yes. Now, do you have to consciously make a mental note when you're switching, presumably pretty quickly, from an electric typewriter to a manual typewriter? Is it something you consciously think about, or are you sure?
Yeah, I think I switch back and forth pretty easy. I mean, obviously on the
Okay.
keyboard, the only real difference is like the apostrophe is typically down here and to the right of the L key instead of up on a shifted 8. So that's one major keyboard difference. But other than that, it doesn't really take much of an adjustment, I think. I think it's easy.
Okay. Excellent.
The other thing is most of I guess all my American made electrics are pica, right? 10 characters per inch. And I think my Hermes 10 is 12 and maybe even 13. It's pretty small typeface. So
Wow.
there is that also, right? And I believe someone earlier was showing off their Olympia Reporter, which I have the same one. And that I like the Reporter. That's probably my newest typewriter, because those were made in the early, like 1983 or 84. Mine is. So that's probably my newest typewriter. And it's a nice machine also, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit bigger footprint than the 6 series Smith Coronas, at least the narrower ones like this.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I have nothing really to say, but I might jump in later and start doing my silly antics and my silly puns and all that, you know, that I usually get giddy about.
Yeah. And I very much enjoyed it. Is it the 3rd installment of the CubeSat?
Yeah, the CubeSat video. Yeah, that was fun. I'm glad you like that. Yeah, I was very surprised to get that email.
Yeah.
I woke up, checked my iPad, and that's interesting. So I did email that lady back and gave her a link to all the videos so she can watch it.
Yeah. Very cool.
That's
It's funny how I think the subject of the email was, "We found your rock."
Yeah, we found your rock. Exactly. You want your rock back? No, we have plenty of rocks here in New Mexico. Thank you.
Yeah.
We decorate our yards with rocks. You know, that's how many rocks we have, you know.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, it's so good to see you, Joe.
You see you too. Thanks.
Excellent. And my goodness, Sean, are you trying to show us all up or what? You are snazzy.
No, this is just casual Sunday in 1950.
Oh, okay.
Once you wear a sweater, you're relaxed. I couldn't find my pipe. And my grandma would kill me if she saw me wearing a hat in the house. But we do generally every Sunday anyway. No, it just sort of lucky. William asked me when I got on, he goes, "Are you trying to upstage everybody?" And I said, no, just trying to be casual. But I also obviously not surprising, collect watches. And I have an old Hamilton automatic on today. And I saw the thing was electric, so I brought my only electric typewriter out, a 1957 5TE, and then realized that this is a 1957 K455 Hamilton. And then I made a post on Instagram about it with the two things, and then went, the only thing I didn't do is put on a bow tie, wear a snap ring cap, and put my sock garters on. And then afterwards I thought, I might as well go do that too, before we get on Typewriter Club. So here we are.
Oh, that's awesome.
Are you going to show us your garters, Sean?
Well, I didn't actually put those on because I didn't really want to put my legs on YouTube. I'm not the kind of guy that could raise money that way, so I won't bother.
Is that a clip-on tie?
No, I real bow tie.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're hardcore.
Yeah, and then these are original glasses from the late 40s, early 50s that I bought in Vegas when I was super drunk years ago. There was a store there called Retro Specs. And geez, this was in the early 2000s before I think really vintage really like went crazy. And so this company, they were basically just buying old frames, you know, for which were cheap as, you know, dirt at every antique store and flea market, and then selling them, like refurbishing them and then selling them for exorbitant amounts.
Wow.
So I went down there years ago with, you know, a team, and ended up buying this pair, which my lenses are old, so I can't see you quite well. So in a bit, I'm going to change my glasses out and ruin the vibe. But yeah, underneath it all, I do have my old school typewriter shirt on.
You're a typewriter superhero.
Yeah. But yeah, in regards to the question of, I've only have the one electric because it's a 5 series, and I'm not really big in, but I do like it. I find, like to Joe's point and to some others, I make more mistakes on an electric because you can go faster, and that sort of gets you down that road to computers where we don't necessarily think as much. We're typing ahead of our brain, and then before you know it, you're making mistakes and having to go back. So I make more typos on an electric because I get to enjoy the quick, snappy response, and that just goes badly sometimes. But it's fun. It's nice to just lightly hit the keys and get an imprint versus really working at it like you do on a manual.
Yeah.
But I also want to thank, so I got a really nice package from Neil. Thank you, Neil. Neil has caused me a problem. He's a great guy and he has the best intentions, but he sent me
Oh, a straight edge razor.
Yeah, so I shave with double-edged safety razors from obviously the 40s, and because I like that. And I never got into this because I was afraid of killing myself, B, and getting into another rabbit hole, right? Because these things were, you know, you could find them at stores at least years ago for, you know, pretty cheap. Nobody wanted them. But now Neil sent me these, so I have to get it working. I have to sharpen it up, and then I have to try straight edge shaving. So thanks, Neil. If you don't see me on one day, you'll know what happened.
Oh.
No, I'm gonna give it a shot. Might as well, right? Life's too short, and I'll go slow, and I'll watch YouTube videos before I do it. Yeah. Neil also was nice enough to send a little magnifying glass so I can look really closely at typefaces.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and teeny weeny little measuring tapes, which, hey, you can always measure something, right? I never have one around when I need it, so now I can measure things.
Perhaps Neil is after your typewriter collection, Sean.
Well, that's okay if he wants to. He's welcome to it. I think he was trying to shuffle off some of his stuff on me, so if I shuffle off onto him, we sort of balance ourselves back out again, I guess.
We just don't want to shuffle the same stuff back. So.
No, yeah, I won't send you the same stuff back. I'll find other stuff to send. Anyway, yeah, no, other than that, yeah, I've been getting a little crazier back into tins again.
Oh, cool.
A series of tins, the Columbia Carbon and Ribbon Company. So that's a pinnacle, but I'm waiting on a few others. Oh, geez, stupid thing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I like the fact when they kept their marketing sort of generally, it was the same design. They just change the name of the ribbon, but they keep the same sort of font and style and look, and maybe change the colors so you could see all the different types of ribbons. So the other one is the Columbia. So that's sort of just the main one. Sorry for.
Nice.
And then the Pinnacle, and then I've got a couple others coming. But I ran out of room on my board, so I need to either find a bigger board or find a way to grow the board. Anyway, the silliness that we all go through in collecting weird things.
Yeah, exactly. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's so good to see you, Sean.
Yeah, you guys as well. And happy Sunday to everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Can I jump
And
my new thing?
what's that?
Can I jump in and show my new thing?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. So I've been in Mexico for a month.
Yeah.
And so I found this adorable, okay, I can't, there I am.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny little radio. It's not an antique. It's not an antique. It's a new radio. It's from China, but it was imported. But it's the cutest little thing.
Yeah.
It looks old, so I loved it. It's got shortwave, AM, FM, and you can plug in your device.
Nice.
Angela, the word they use today is adorbs. That's just adorbs.
It's adorbs.
That's adorbs.
And it was all of $12.50. So when I got
perfect.
I looked it up on eBay to see what they're selling on there. I was like, oh, maybe I can find somewhere. They're like $55. So
Wow.
my mom and I got the last two. She got the red one and I got the brown one. Those were the only ones they had left. I figured that a lot of people here would appreciate that because it looks typewriters.
Yep. Very cool. Very cool. And did you have any input on the sort of topic of fewer typos, manual versus electric?
Well, I also make more mistakes, but it's because I can't stop my fingers in time. Like sometimes with a regular one, I realize it, and so I don't push the key down all the way when I realize I'm about to type the wrong letter. Too late with an electric.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do thoroughly enjoy my electrics, and I tend to use them more if I have multiple letters to write in one day. Stress off the fingers.
Yes.
I have one electric here, and I have one electric in Maine, so I always have one available.
Okay. Excellent. And anything else new with you?
I think I showed my Spanish keyboard typewriter when I was in Mexico, but I did find one in case anyone didn't hear that. I got the,
oh, yes.
and now I can write back to Ivan in Spanish correctly.
Nice.
maybe Danielle too.
There you go. Yeah.
Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. So how does it type?
I only used it a little bit. I need to put a ribbon in it, but it seemed fine. Yeah, it'll do.
That's a good make. It's a good model.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very cool. Well, it's so good to see you, Angela.
Thank you.
And we're glad you're back safe and sound.
Yeah. Back in the States.
Excellent. Andy, how are you doing?
Hey, terrific. Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
It's been a while, been a long while. I'm as a refresher, I'm a local Californian as well, Gregory. So I've been hanging out here in South Orange County, staying under the radar.
Yeah.
Last time I was on it, I had a mill typewriter that I had showcased. Still kind of working on the refurbished end of that thing, but in the interim, I hadn't done a lot of purchasing, but it's kind of been hanging out. And but I did find a Optima Plana. I don't know if my camera get me off there, see if I can change over. Oh, there's the Plana. Yeah, so that's something I found when I was traveling and went down the very dicey road of taking the case, the cover, off of it. Um, is that reversed or is it me? The
No,
image of
we see
that?
it correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was going nuts, but and then anyway, it was a beautiful machine. It was in good shape. It needed a little bit of cleaning up and usual repairing the tabs and tabulators and stuff. But overall, turned out nice. But yeah, taking that out of its cover, I would never recommend that to anybody. It's like a Rubik's cube, trying to work out. I don't know if anybody's ever gone down that road, but don't do it. Then the other thing next to it, probably a little more interesting. Let's see if I can move that. It's in sight. Is I guess it looks like a plain old plastic 12, but it's Sight Saver. I wish May was here. She'd probably get a kick out of that.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a Sight Saver.
Oh man.
Glass. Yeah. But that was just a local find, and it's one of those things that just stood out because of the scaling on it, and there actually was a type sample on it, so I was able to kind of ferret that out. And it's kind of strange. It's strange typing on it because it's so massive, the typeface, but fun.
Yeah.
But that's
the other thing. Sorry,
yeah.
Go ahead. The other thing about those classic 12s with a 6 CPI, with a 12-inch carriage, you can type on 11 by 17 paper. And it looks proportionally correct if you hold it out there somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I think that, I don't know if they all came. This looks like a wide carriage as well, so I don't know if they all came that way. Yeah.
If it says classic 12, it's 12-inch plat.
That's right. Yeah.
If it says classic 10, it's a 10-inch.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I never, as far as the question, Gregory, and the topic, and I could not connect with any electrics. And someone had given me a daisy wheel, and I got rid of it right away. And beyond that, I don't know if there's something in my mind working about the zombie apocalypse with no electricity. I still need to be able to type or something. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, I just couldn't make a connection. But a type bar electric, like what Sean has there, that's probably would be my lowest common denominator in terms of what I potentially would get for an electric. But I know I'm missing out. I know the collectors would be telling me I'm missing out, but so far it has eluded my collection. Modest collection. But that could change. Something could come my way.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get a 6 CPI typewriter in your collection, anything's possible.
Well, I just I started chasing typefaces a while back, so it's like, okay, if it's Vogue, if it's Mill, if it's it's got to be different, and so that you end up with a couple of Vogue machines and a Mill and different typefaces that I never dreamed you can even find these things, right? It's like next to impossible. So but I guess if you're fanatical and you hunt enough, then things happen. So I have a question locally, Gregory, type-ins. I know Bob, I think he kind of was generating a lot of activity in your area, Riverside. Has there been any type-ins, like just, you're running the mill, like let's meet at the coffee shop or wherever locally here, nearby?
There hasn't, but off and on for months now, actually. Bob and I have been discussing it. He has like a little showroom that he has in the front of his house. He's like in the historic district of Riverside. So he mentioned possibly meeting there. I also suggested the brand new library we have. They have these awesome meeting rooms. And of course, there's, like you were saying, there's coffee shops too. I first met Bob in person at what was his typewriter club, and that was at Back to the Grind in downtown Riverside. So I would definitely be up for something like that. So we should definitely get in touch with Bob, and I know Yvonne, and who else is in this area?
Who's
Steve,
down in San? Wasn't there someone down in San Diego, or did she move?
oh, she moved up to Portland.
Oh, okay.
Not Portland, Eugene,
Mhm.
Oregon. Yeah, I got to meet her though.
Cool.
Yeah, that was Care. Yeah.
Care, yeah. Yeah, I was just curious because I figured there's enough of us probably around here, and then whatever the public interest might be, and maybe cool to
Yeah,
set up one day and make some noise, make some typewriter noise.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. The nice thing about the coffee shop was the sort of meeting space was in the basement, so there wasn't a whole lot of people, but it was a nice big area. I mean, you could fit a lot of people down there.
Yes.
But I think at the same time you might want people around so that they'll be curious and come up to you and stuff like that.
Right.
Whereas
Right.
when you're in the basement, they're less likely to do that. So
Mhm. Well, it seems like
Yeah.
I think I recall Susan sharing a little bit about the type-in that she organized, and I thought that was a good template, and it seemed like she had a lot of success with that. And it was cool to see all the pictures and things of the event. So, but maybe I need to also take the initiative and get something started for us here, for us local
Yeah,
typewriter folks.
I would definitely be game. Definitely. There's
Awesome.
Joe's food. And we have
Oh,
someone in the YouTube chat that they mentioned they're near Riverside and they would be interested as well. So there you go. There's at least what, 5 or 6 of us there. So
awesome.
very cool. We
Awesome.
might have something in the works.
William, perhaps there was a pun intended. No, I could not make a connection with an electric typewriter. That's a good observation. You're a good listener, William.
Yeah. That was a good one.
It was a subliminal.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. And what else have you been doing with your typewriters since we last saw you? Anything worth noting, or?
Yeah, I mean, just trying to refurbish them. Typing. I usually journal and type letters and stuff, but was being exponentially challenged with a Model P that had a misfiring backspace on it, and I'm still kind of struggling through that. And I even bought a parts machine, a reference parts machine, so that I could try and reverse engineer the issue, but I still have not overcome that. So, and I hate to admit that it might be above my skill set, but sometimes I tend to always say I can do it myself. I can do it myself.
Yeah.
When it's obvious I can. Anyway, but yeah, that's about it. And just regular other life stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Very cool. Well, it's good seeing you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Excellent. William, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good right now. My wife is on the phone, so I'll wait until she's finished on the phone. Then I'll chime back in again. But I have got a little something anyway, so I'll talk to you guys later once she's finished on the phone.
Okay. Very cool. And it looks like Brian might be busy doing something. Oh, he's getting his coffee and snack, it looks like. Maybe his lunch. How are you, Brian?
It's actually just a little cup of water because I was going to clean the keys on my typewriter.
Oh, it's for the typewriter, not for you.
Yeah, no, it's my typewriter cup.
Okay.
I saw the topic was electrics, and I love my Series 6 electric Smith Corona with the type sticker on the side, and I prefer that much greatly to type letters with.
Yeah.
I feel like I make less mistakes with that.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I just do. It's a lot more like a computer keyboard, and just press it down a little bit for each one. As soon as I hear it click, I can pull off and do the next key. I don't know. It just works better for me.
Yeah.
I'm just a bad typist, I think.
They all amplify our bad typing in various ways.
Yeah.
But this is my actual new typewriter I just got this morning.
Oh, cool. Let me
That,
zoom back in on you. There we
There
go.
was a guy that listed it on Facebook Marketplace for $80. And it had the little plastic paper rest on the top that always breaks and gets lost with these things. So I asked him if it was still available, and he said, well, actually, he didn't answer right away. He answered like 8 hours later, and he said, well, I hesitate to move forward on it because I sold the paper rest off of it.
Oh.
I said, oh, okay. Well, thanks. I understand. Those get lost a lot. That's not a big deal. And I went back and I told somebody about it, and I said, you know, they have for $80. You know, I'm not interested in that typewriter without the thing on it. If he offers me $20, I'll pick it up. Well, then he answered me like an hour later. He said, I've been selling the rest of the typewriter for $20. Do you want it? I said, yes. So I drove into Phoenix this morning and picked it up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Everything seems to work so far. It's a little funky. It smells kind of weird. There's a lot of dandelion seeds inside of it. So lots of cleaning to do, but it works really well. I never had one. I like the way the carriage motion is damped so much. It has something in there, a centrifugal clutch or something that's slowing things down.
Oh.
Just it looks like it's on rails.
Interesting.
Like something's spinning up. I don't know how it works. It's definitely being braked by something. It's
actually a brake.
Very smooth.
It is a brake, Brian.
What's that?
It is a brake. There is a brake system, a braking system for tabbing so that the carriage doesn't slam down.
Yeah. Is it an inertial thing? Does it spin something to make it do that? Or is
it spins, and with centrifugal force,
right,
the brake shoes expand.
That's
problem
what it feels
is,
like. I figured it's
some of them are damaged. And so that looks like it might be a little bit damaged. And so it's breaking too much.
Great.
But it's too slow.
Too slow should be faster than that.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably gunked up and oily, I reckon.
Yeah.
Or damaged.
Or dandelions.
Yeah.
So it's the same problem with the brake housing than the right hand margin stop. Is that it's pot metal, or it's a zinc cast piece, and with time the zinc cast cracks and expands, and that gets damaged. So it no longer works well when the zinc parts get too old. And so it's a known problem of the SG1, and it's documented on the Facebook SG1 group. There's an Olympia SG1 Facebook group, and there's quite a number of people that have photos there. So you could probably see it if you do a search.
Okay, I'll do that.
The other thing I wanted to say is that Leonard Chow has produced a model of a paper rest for 3D printing. So you can actually download his files and 3D print yourself paper rest, and it's going to work.
Wow.
Cool. Things I did not know. Thank you.
Yeah, very cool.
It is very easy to take the carriage off of those also.
I've heard that. I haven't tried it.
Okay. What typeface do you have?
What it's nothing interesting. It's 11, it's a metric. Just standard serif. I don't know what, I haven't looked it up yet. But it doesn't look that interesting. It's small.
They're all interesting, right?
Yeah. It's not 11, it's not 10 or 12, it's like 11 or, but I'm 2.3 millimeters, or I forget what you call that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, nothing too fancy. But
Yeah,
I like it.
2.3.
It was $20.
It would,
so
yeah.
I call that a
If
win.
you look at the paper bale scale, if
Mhm.
it says 2.23, it's 2.3 millimeters. Right on the left of the paper bale, if you have a number there,
Well,
on the very left-hand side, the very extreme.
here, let me put the camera on it. You tell me what it is. I can't see.
Well, yours doesn't have it.
They also
a
have the
single zone.
information printed on the actual type slug itself.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I'll have to take a look. I'll do that when they're clean. I don't want to show you now.
Yeah.
They're not clean.
So if you have the type, when you clean the type slugs, you can take a picture of the type slug and then enlarge it, and it'll have a number on it, and then you can look it up.
Okay.
All the Olympias, that's the easiest way to be sure of their typeface, is to actually find the number.
Gotcha. I'll do that.
Brian, your machine
I assume
also
I looked
has
it up on the
a-
Typewriter database.
you also have the on your paper bale, the rollers. You have the nice shiny chrome covers on them. A lot of them, some of the machines didn't have those covers. You just mine just has a very dull looking metal with ridges in it. I think you got the classy model there, the shiny.
Ooh, nice. Well, that's good to know. It's I think it's a 1955 from the Typewriter database.
They're pretty indestructible machines, and they are wonderful to type on. When you look underneath, Brian, you see all those springs. Each key has a spring in the top, in the key top.
Yeah,
that makes
I knew that.
really easy to type on.
Yeah, it feels great so far.
I
much does
love
it
mine.
weigh?
I love Betty, the SG1. She's
Nice.
awesome with the senatorial typeface.
Oh,
Brian,
The
how
other
much
fun
does it
feature
weigh?
they have on those machines is the not sure, I can't remember what it's called, but it's that key on the upper right hand position of your keyboard that you press down, and it gives you this double spacing. So between letters, double spacing, which is really cool. 'Cause you can put like capital letters on and write a header. That just really, it's a neat feature to have.
yeah.
And there's a lot of fun characters on the keyboard too. I mean, you have the degree symbol, so you can write about the weather.
Yeah, we've got a TH.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun things. That's a fun typewriter. You got a good find for $20, Mr. Good.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you.
job.
I'm pretty happy with it.
Excellent. Andy, were
Thank
you
you.
going to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna ask him, how much does it weigh?
I haven't put it on the scale yet, but
I have,
shouldn't-
they
I
weigh
shouldn't have lifted it.
39.5 pounds, mine weighs.
I was thinking.
Yeah, it weighs
30
like almost 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, 50 cents per pound. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what's funny is my Hermes Ambassador, which is tons bigger than Betty, only weighs 33.5 pounds.
Well, I looked at the bottom of this, looking for the serial number, and it's all iron and big castings of stuff.
It usually has more than one serial number. You have one actually
I
on the
saw.
carriage and one on the body, and they don't have to match.
Yeah, I pulled the one off the carriage, and it was 1955,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't see one on the frame, although I was looking for it. I'll have to look some more. I saw pictures of where it's located on the database, but it wasn't with enough context to see what part of the machine it was on.
You have to lift the carriage altogether, and you'll see the number is stamped on the cast iron, the frame.
I got it.
Yeah.
But you should join the SG1 Facebook group, Brian, because there's a lot of knowledgeable people. Amazingly, there's people that have tons of just SG1s, like 12, 15 SG1s. Where they find room for all these typewriters, I have no idea.
Yeah, once you have the body off and the carriage off, it's so much access to everything in there. It's just it's wonderful.
I noticed when I was looking in there that
They were designed that way.
Easy to get to.
Yeah, they were designed to be easy to service.
That's great.
Yeah. Because they didn't carry them out of the offices when they serviced them. They serviced them right there in the office. Because who wants to carry 40 pounds out to your truck?
Nobody does. I feel like the gravitational pull of this thing has shifted things in my house a little bit. Like, I can't, if I walk in straight lines in the bathroom, it kind of sucks me over through each.
It has its own moon.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks everybody. That's interesting stuff.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. And what's the weather like there right now? Because it's crazy here.
It's cool, but it's not raining or anything. Is it? You got crazy storm weather up there?
Well, today is just overcast, but at least twice in the past week and a half, it has snowed, at least in Moreno Valley, which is where I work. It's a nearby city. It actually snowed, and that's like unheard of. So yeah, we're all looking out the window like, wow. I mean, I've seen snow before, and I've seen more impressive snow than that, but still, it's unusual for here.
Yeah, we haven't got anything like that. Our weather is
okay. Yeah. Very cool. Well, it's very good to see you, Brian.
Good to see you too.
Excellent. Christoph, how are you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm doing a lot of things this weekend.
Oh yeah?
I booked new shelf parts. You know, I booked a shelf on a kit, and I booked some new parts, and up. Now I have a new display. I changed the display, and all the Hermeses are here for Suzanne.
Wow.
And
that almost takes up the whole wall now.
I booked initially it was a workbench, but I made some modification to have a new computer desk. I have some missing parts. I have to buy some new wood shelf, but the typewriter shelf is over. So I have more place, and I think more place means more machines in the future now. But so I have to clean my house now, and to clean the dust on the typewriters.
Yeah.
So I don't remember if I show you my last purchase, my new Olympia. SM9.
Sure.
Sorry?
I'm not sure if you showed it to us or not.
Next to my Monica, I booked this one. And the box is here, and the box is in very good condition. I changed the ribbon, and it works perfectly. It's a fantastic machine next to my Monica. And I booked this little Hermes baby, and if I remember, where is she? Oh, this one, this Hermes 3000 with. I have to change some parts, some broken parts. The body is not in good condition, but the machine works well. So,
nice.
And the good thing is the flea market season is on.
Oh, okay.
Spring is coming and flea market are coming.
Yeah.
So it's a good time to get outside and see some new things.
Yeah. Definitely. Very cool.
Okay, and for me, that's okay. Thank you. The new change, the new time change is very, very cool.
Oh, excellent!
Me,
excellent.
Yeah, It's 7 p.m. here when it starts, and it was 6 p.m. and 7 is it's better. 1 hour
Excellent.
after, it's a little bit better.
Very good. That's good to hear. Thanks for that feedback.
Okay, have a nice Sunday, and bye-bye.
Thank you, Christoph. Good seeing you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Oh, it looks like Neil might be typing. How are you, Neil?
Doing well, doing well.
Excellent, excellent.
It's hard to outdress Sean, I'll tell you that, boy.
I know, right? I think he should be the host today.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody.
And not a whole lot going, no new machines.
Okay.
It's kind of probably in the next year or so, maybe relocating, not leaving the Florida Keys, but maybe spending some summertime up in northern Michigan area, get out of here for the hottest part of the year. So in planning for that, trying to look at thinning the herd a little bit. Some machines, not in any hurried way, just over time. And that we've discussed that before. That's can be a challenge sometimes, trying to figure out which of your kids you want to keep and which ones you want to dole out to other people. But we're not there yet. Just started. That's in my thought process is beginning. So
yeah,
you're talking about the weather out there and overcast. We're overcast here today too, but for an entirely different reason. This time of the year, they burn the sugarcane fields in Cuba, and when we get a wind from the right direction over a course of a day or so, sometimes you can actually smell the smoke a little bit, but we're not smelling it right now. So I guess it's higher up in the atmosphere, but it's creating it's kind of nice actually. It's a kind of cooler weather right now. So, but
wow.
kind of strange weather phenomena. I don't think of that happening too much, but
yeah.
So, what else is going on? Catching up on letters. I got a real nice letter I got one from Joe this week. Thank you, Joe. And I got one from Ted. So letters are coming in, which means I got to keep them going out the other direction. So been doing a lot of typing and postcards and what else? You're talking about the electric type. I'm not sure what the question was for today. What was the question, Gregory?
Fewer typos, manual versus electric.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think probably overall, fewer with manual, but sometimes at least for me, it depends what kind of, I don't know, not mood I'm in, but there's times when I'm kind of get in a groove and I can sit down with this electric and just fire off a letter and make very, very few mistakes. I guess it's more how my brain's functioning that day. And then there's other times I can't get through a complete sentence without, making a mistake. So it's kind of funny how that works, but it's, I think as some of you've already said, it's with the manuals, you're kind of more deliberate and trying to keep. I was noticing today, I'm typing with, I've got the SM7, which is one of my favorite machines. And it seems as though I don't realize it. A week or so ago, we were talking about how do you type with touch type with both hands, all your fingers, or do you type with? You've described how you type, Gregory, and I find myself, for some reason on this machine, I type with my two middle fingers. I don't know why I do that. It just seems to happen differently with different machines, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. I guess sometimes.
Yeah.
Get a nice strike and a nice image. On the paper. So
Well, I think you would get a better reach with your middle fingers because they're longer, right?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, they've got a half inch at least on the other
Yeah.
one. Yeah, it's interesting. But
maybe I should switch to that.
I don't know if I switched to it myself or if that's just the way it
yeah.
I think a lot of it too has to do with where you're sitting, what type, how the height of the machine and the desk and whatnot. Maybe that plays into it all. I'm not sure, but that's the way it seems with this machine.
Yeah.
But this electric I've been typing, you guys are tired of hearing me talk about this electric, but I've been typing with it a lot and trying to work out the last couple bugs. And Daniel, thank you. Your suggestion about who was someone had suggested about posting in the golf ball typewriter Facebook page about getting some help on this. I've got this issue where it's when the carrier returns, it's giving me the first letter, a space, and then the second letter. Not consistently. It happens inconsistently. But I was playing around with it and I found that if I set a tab about, it can be whatever distance in, just say 3 spaces. I hit return and then the tab, and I never have that problem. It's consistent. It just 100% perfect every single time. So I've been typing letters doing that, but that's not the way you want to be typing. But I kind of got in a habit of doing it now, so I can at least type a letter that looks presentable, unless I forget to hit the tab key. But so I've got a S in that group. I took a photo of a type sample this morning. I'm going to post it. I tried to post it this morning. I'd say something went wrong. I'm sure I did something wrong. I didn't see it on there, so I'll have to go back and do it again. But I clearly will type like the first 3 or 4 times I type this is a test, this is a test, and it skipped that. It gave me a space after the first letter, and then it typed perfectly, I think 3 times, and then back to skipping. And then when I did the tab that I just described, I typed 7 lines in a row, and it's perfect every single time. So it's got I need to investigate that further, but that machine, if I sit down on that one and type, when I do make mistakes, it's often just because I'm going too fast, but I need to slow down. But so I think I mentioned before the Smith Corona type bar machine. That thing, I swear, that machine seems like the fastest machine of all, even faster than the IBM. For some reason, maybe it's just because of the light touch, but wow, that thing, it'll like gallop away from me if I don't go real slow and deliberate.
Yeah.
And that other one I picked up a few months ago. I really love that Olympia Reporter Electric. Wow, that's a nice, very nice typing machine. So, but other than that, I've been changing a few ribbons. Been playing around with some new letterhead. Every time I think I'm getting a little bit creative, somebody sends me something that's just I'm like, oh my God, I'll never catch up to you guys.
Yeah.
I got the neatest when Ted's letter arrived. I just opened it this morning. Actually, the mail came late yesterday, so I didn't even know it arrived, but it's on a very unique paper that was some handmade paper, apparently. And he had printed up something, I forget what it was now, but he had used this fancy letterhead he created back for some event, I think in 2014. You can actually turn the paper over on the back and you can actually see the plant material embedded in the paper. It's really, really unique. So
very cool.
Anyway, that's about all I have. So other than to say thank you, Gregory, for doing this again. Always appreciate it.
Of course. Excellent. All right. And Daniel, how are you?
Good. So when I look at you, Gregory, I see comments from the YouTube, I think, Is that
Yeah,
the
I
case?
finally got it to work. Yeah, it's not ideal because it's over my face and it's kind of hard to see the name of the person that wrote the
Yeah.
comment. So I do need to tweak it, but for now it'll do.
No, you're right. I had to look at it a couple times, but it's pretty cool that you found how to do that, and I
Yes.
wouldn't even know how to do that. So that's something really interesting. And I wanted to tell Neil that I got his letter. I haven't yet. It's in the pipeline. I haven't yet replied to it. But what's great about Neil is that he sends us a chronicle of Key West from the newspaper, the local newspaper, and that's just great to read. I read it all.
Well, that's good to hear. I always I tried to put a disclaimer in those that you can either line your bird cage with it or wrap your mullet. So.
and that's okay. When I'm done with it, then my wife reads it, and then it's kind of a lot of fun. But you, I really liked yours. I really like your envelopes, your customized envelopes, and your letterhead. So you don't have to measure by what the others do, although there's fantastic stuff that the others do with their letterheads, and I don't know where we're stuck on Sean right now, but he's a great example of somebody who uses like vintage letterhead to produce letters, and so it's so great to see the variety. Like myself, if I were to stop and say, oh, I can't do it as well as the others, I wouldn't be writing. So I just type on plain paper, and that's it. I put some stamps from time to time, some ink, rubber stamp decorations, but that's it. I was also going to mention that I got sometimes that it's the stamps that are great, and just Friday I got the letter from one of our members from Alberta, and his name is Werner, and he sent me a letter, and it's got one of the stamps from 1976. And the stamp is one of the stamps issued for specifically the event of the Montreal 1976 Olympics. So when the Olympic Games took place in Montreal, then they had special stamps issued. And then so he found one of those stamps and put it in the envelope and sent it to me. And it's a bit special because I actually remember very well attending those Olympic Games, going with my mom and my brother and one of my aunts. And like we were in the stadium, and that's a stadium with 60,000 people. It was just fantastic. It was just unbelievable. And then so I received Friday a letter with the stamp, and I think it's very, very cool. I try to use also vintage stamps, but I don't know. I don't find that many. Maybe I'm just not looking at the right place, but anyway, I'm gonna try to get more of those vintage stamps to use them for correspondence. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to use vintage stamps. I mean, I also have new stamps that are pretty cool too. So I do a mix.
Daniel, I actually get most of mine, and I got the tip from Gregory, I believe, here on one of our meetings months ago about going to eBay and purchasing them, and I get them I end up buying them sometimes for just their actual same face value is what I pay for them.
Oh, really? eBay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure how they do justify that or work it, but I guess it's people must buy these lots of stamps, and nobody wants to mess around with a bunch of 3 cent or 5 cent or 10 cent stamps anymore.
Yeah.
So they just sell them in lots. Sometimes it might be a few dollars more for the lot, but there's times where I paid actual just what the face value was for them.
Yeah.
So although stamps might be worth that. Just the fact that people don't want to mess with the small denominations, maybe they're, I'm not sure, but yeah, I've got ton. They're so much fun to look through too. I've got, I try it. I think it was actually, it was Sean. I got that idea from him to actually kind of what I put. I haven't done it to my Canadian friends because I don't know how that works. So I just slap the Canadian stamp on there and send it to you guys. But for others, I try to, maybe if I know someone lives in a certain state, I'll pull out stamps from that state or something to do with, I know they would enjoy outdoor kind of things. I'll kind of do what I can to customize it for that person. So.
Yeah. Well, it's a great idea. I'll look it up. I definitely will. I actually haven't used eBay in a long time, so maybe that's just because I haven't looked at that. I was looking on Facebook Market and stuff like that. But I'll definitely take your cue and look at eBay for that. My understanding is that let's say if the stamp that you are buying for Canada is $1.40, then you put $1.40 worth of stamps on the envelope, and it's good to go. So that's.
Well, watch out for your next letter. Then I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think in the U.S. your forever international is $1.40, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, in Canada, we have for the U.S. we have a stamp that's for the U.S. only. It's worth $1.30, and so if I put enough stamps to get to $1.30 or a little bit more or whatever, but a minimum of $1.30, it works, and so I've been doing that. Anyway.
That's good to know. I will always weigh the envelope after I have everything in it to make sure it hasn't gone over. But if it is, sometimes I'll add a few cents more just for whatever. Sometimes you can't make the amount come out right, so I'll throw in. We got to be careful. Sometimes I have to lay them out sometimes because oftentimes there's so many stamps you can cover the whole front of the envelope practically with them if you use real small denominations. So
right, yeah, that's the problem too. So maybe Gregory, to answer your question, because I've been talking a lot and not answering your question today, is I have quite a few electrics. I have Smith Corona's electrics, and now I have 2 IBM electrics. And one of my very early typewriter that I bought when I started buying typewriters was a Smith Corona, a 1980 Smith Corona Type Bar electric. And it's the Corona Matic 2500 model, and it uses a cartridge. So the cartridges are rare now. It's not, so it's a bit of a problem if I wanted to type everything with that typewriter, maybe I would be running out of cartridges. But my first impression was like, this was such a fantastic machine. It was meant, I think it was sold for personal use, but it could have been like a small office machine easily, like a small business office machine, I meant to say. And the platen is still soft. It had all of the features that you could want. It had like a paper injector lever on the right hand side, and some of the best paper bale markings on the paper bale and the paper scale to center your page. It had like 1.5 line spacing, 1 and 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, as you want. The paper bale, when you use the paper injector, the paper bale moves away, so that it feeds the paper, and then when you release the paper injector, the paper bale comes back onto the platen. And I could feed anything in there, like postcards. It would feed. Wow. It would go through it. And yes, it did kind of. I remember one time I was writing, and I wrote in the letter to somebody like, this typewriter is typing faster than my fingers. And so it can be fast. But I found that, and as no, Neil mentioned that the touch was very sensitive, but there's a touch control on the Smith Coronas. So you can actually adjust the touch control and make it harder so that it's not as sensitive. So that's a trick I found, because when I first got mine, it was very sensitive. You just touched it a little bit and bang, it would type. And I made a lot of mistakes to the same as everybody else, right? So, and then when I adjusted the touch control to a bit harder, then it was much better. So that Coronomatic 2500 by Smith Corona is still a very, very good machine for me. And as soon as I finish restoring this electric might become, like maybe a better machine somehow. But one of the reasons this electric 3 that I have might be a better machine is because it has the 96 character keyboard, and that means more of the characters to be able to put accents on capital letters and other diacritical signs on letters, capital and small letters. So it's kind of built a little bit more like a computer keyboard. It looks more like the IBM keyboard of a PC than my older typewriter. Like I have next to me the 1940 Remington, and it's a smaller keyboard. That one from the Selectric is an extended keyboard. There's more characters. There's more the quotation marks and other kind of characters. Just like Susan was saying that the SG1 has more characters. Well, the Selectric 3 has, with 96 characters, has a lot more. So that's like a very, very, really a very good machine. So that's it. I mean, yes, they are fantastic, and I like both. Like I've been typing with manuals mostly here because they're small. They take just a little bit of my table. When I install the Coronomatic 2500, it's a big one, and the Selectric's going to be a big one. So that takes a lot of room. You have to move more things, make more space.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's plus and minuses.
Yes, definitely. Excellent. All right. Well, it's so good to see you, Daniel.
Well, thank you very much. Good to see everyone.
Yeah. And I see a new face. We have Diane Wang joining us.
Hello.
How are you, Diane?
Hi, good.
Excellent. Welcome. And since you're new, did you just want to tell us briefly about yourself?
Sure. So I joined back in December last year, and I joined because I got into typewriter. Like I actually have one long time ago that my parents got for me, like I think they got it from the flea market for free. And then they brought it back because they knew that I like typewriters. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out. I forgot what it was. I think it was a mahogany or something MW. I forgot the name, but like it was a really old one, but it was in really good cosmetic condition. It's just really dusty and it needs to get serviced. So I used that for a little bit to like type letters to like send it out to my friends and stuff. And I really enjoyed it, but over time I just grew out of it. I was like, this is kind of boring. I don't quite like it. And I found out the value of it. And you know how like when you send your typewriters to like get it serviced, it costs money, right? So I was like, okay, it costs way too much than the typewriter itself. So I'm like, that's not really ideal. So I'm gonna try to sell it. So I did. I sold it and I did a little bit of research. And then I found Olympia and I was like, wow, I really like their design. So I was lucky that there is a shop like 30 minutes away from where I live. I went in person and checked it out and I was like, wow, I really love it. So that's the second typewriter I got and I currently have it. And I have another one incoming. It's a Hermes 3000. And that's currently getting serviced. So I'm just waiting for that to come in. But yeah, I've always like typewriters. I love keyboards, so that was like really easy for me to get into. And I'm
Yes,
just
yes.
fascinated about like the internal mechanism of like how they work. I don't know anything about typewriters, but like I would love to learn about them. So yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
you
think
need
that
is love.
first, yes, yes. I think that first typewriter you were mentioning, was it a Montgomery Ward's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you went from Montgomery Ward's to Olympia to Hermes. Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so what do you like doing on the typewriters?
I just mostly write letters. So I have some pen pals that I'm like responding to. I'm trying to get more. So if anyone down to write letters, hit me up.
Excellent. Yes. And you said you're in the Type Pals database, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Very good. Yeah. So how currently you have the Olympia, and how does that compare to currently you have the Olympia, and how does that compare to the Montgomery? Would you say that the Montgomery was still a good typewriter, or did the Olympia kind of give you a new perspective on the Montgomery Ward typewriter?
That's hard for me to say because I never got the Montgomery service. So I honestly don't know how it will feel like if it was fully serviced. But if you want me to compare, I would say I will go for the Olympia because that one was fully serviced and it has a new platen and everything.
Okay,
it
yeah.
types like a dream. Like the only thing I don't like about it is the shift. Like it's really heavy. That's
Heavy,
why
yes.
I found out about Hermes and I was like, ooh, I like it because my
Yeah.
fingers are weak.
Oh,
Yeah.
they'll get stronger. You just have to type more.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Very cool. And are there?
Sorry.
Go ahead, William.
Diane, do you know what model of Olympia you have there?
Yes, SM4.
Okay, that's why it feels so heavy, because that is a carriage shift.
Yeah, I didn't know the difference between the carriage shift and the other one. I don't know. I forgot what you called the other one, but yeah.
Basket shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all started somewhere, my dear. When I first got interested, I didn't know the difference between carriage shift and basket shift either.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll find that the shift weight is adjustable on the Olympia SM4.
Oh.
I just forget exactly where it is. You increase your tension on springs to make the effective effort less to actually shift it up.
Oh, really? I only know that you can adjust for the, what's it called, the touch type. Yeah, I don't
there's an internal adjustment that you can do to that to make it so that it's not quite as heavy. But a carriage shift will always be heavier than a basket shift.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And you're going to love your Hermes. I'm the biggest fan
yeah.
of Hermes there is. And I will tell you right now, you'll never type on your Olympia again once you type on your
You know what? That's actually, no, I'll probably give both of them like equal amount of attention because the Olympia I have is in cursive. And I love that.
Oh, that's lovely. So see, you have a cursive typeface. So now you just have to build up the strength in your fingers to do the carriage.
That's the main reason why I got the Hermes, because I've been typing on the cursive one ever since I got it last December. And I just I'm a person that I like changes. I just got tired of it. I still love it, but like I wanted a change, which is why I found out about Hermes and I was like, wow, they seem amazing. And then I tried it in person and was like, love at first sight.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly how they are. Love at first sight. And second sight and third sight.
That's a common.
You've got a friend in Susan. You've got a Hermes friend in Susan.
For me, I see them and I love them.
Wait, I have a question, Susan. Which Hermes model you had?
I have 4 Hermes 3000s. I have 2 curvy ones. I have one of the square metal boxy kind that came after that, the second generation. And I have one ugly duckling, which is a plastic bodied one from the 1970s. I have a Hermes Rocket and I have a Hermes Ambassador, which is the
Wow.
standard
Big
size
one.
Yeah,
machine.
that's a really big one.
I just got the Ambassador and I adore it. I mean, it is so easy to type on and the carriage moves so smoothly. It has to be serviced. It needs a new platen. And so I do have a place where I take mine to get them serviced, but it's definitely going to get serviced. Everyone has told me they think I'm nuts to love it so much, but I do. I love it. And Brendan has one too.
Oh,
Hermes 3000. I mean, Ambassador.
And also the
Yeah.
Hermes 10, right? You have a Hermes 10.
I don't have a 10.
Oh, okay. I thought you did.
I have an Ambassador.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have a Hermes 10 electric. Yeah, I have the electric type bar. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That was my first Hermes, was the electric type bar machine.
Susan, you have so many that we have to tell you what you have because you forgot about your Hermes 10.
I know. I forgot
I
about the
know.
electric because I was so excited that somebody new was getting a Hermes 3000.
When
So-
you said no to Joe, I fell off my chair.
So the Hermes 10 is an electric Hermes
Yeah.
3000. It's like
It's
a
an
Hermes
electric.
3000.
If the body
essentially.
style is very similar to the plastic bodied Hermes 3000.
Yeah, the carriage is definitely the same as the 3000 for sure.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's
I do love it. I do love it. It was my first Hermes, was the electric. So, but yeah, I've been lucky. I have a lot.
I think that's such an incredible challenge, and I encountered the same thing, and I can relate to Diane. Not being able to try these machines out before you buy, right? I mean, it's if you're fortunate enough to live nearby somebody that's got a great collection, is willing, or if you're somewhere where you can actually try them out. Most of the time, we do our purchasing online, and it's just trial by error, right? Sometimes if it's a fit or not. And but that's great. You have these expectations about what it's supposed to be, and I hope all your dreams are fulfilled, Diane, with your choices. So.
thank you. That's the hard part. Like, it makes me sad that there's not many stores that are still in business anymore. Like, I only have this one store, and the owner is really old. I'm worried that if he ended up shutting it down one day, I have nowhere else to go. Because I live in the city in San Francisco, California. So there's not really that many nearby. Most of the ones that I know are all on the East Coast for some reason.
There are collectors in your area, though, Diane, and you should look on our Type House listing, because I do write to some people that are on our listing that are in the general San Francisco, Berkeley area. So you should check and see, because that's another way. I mean, honestly, Type-in is a great situation where you can try people's machines.
Right.
And you can see what they feel like to type on. And so anytime you can have some kind of event like that, it's really great. I mean, once I tried the Hermes 10, I knew I wanted a Hermes 3000. And once I had one Hermes 3000, the other three were easy to buy. But, I bought the Ambassador because I went to a Type-in in Austin, and I had seen the listing that morning, and I walked in and I said, okay, who has an Ambassador? Who can tell me, do I really want this? Because it's really big. And sure enough, Glenn Crookston was there and said, I have a number of them. I have 3 and I love them. And I said, really, what do you like? And he told me, and I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And I did, and I've not regretted it. So the more you can have people that you can talk to about what you might like, or something that you saw that you might be interested in, people whose opinions that you trust, the better it is. But a Type-in is the perfect way to get to try out machines.
Yeah, I was wondering if anyone's hosting in the Bay Area.
There is, I
There
promise.
is. Okay.
And the other thing is too, you don't have to have, to Andy's point, you don't have to have 50 people to have a Type-in.
Right.
You can have a Type-in with just 4 people, 2 people. 2 people is a Type-in.
As long as you have,
Exactly.
as
They
long
have
as
machines.
as long as you have 50 typewriters.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot to choose from that I could bring to thing with just 2 people, you know, and so it doesn't have to be a lot of people. It just has to be a place where you can bring some machines and try them out, you know.
Lovely.
Yeah, I just want to meet people who are like in this community because like I'm pretty young, so like I don't have friends who are into typewriters as I am. Like they all call me like, oh, you're old grandma. I'm like,
You'd be
no.
surprised how many young people there are now though that are interested in typewriters, that are even in our group or even are interested in repairing.
Yeah, like
And you have friends now.
So yeah, you have friends now.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm old, but
is Berkeley Typewriter still around?
Yes, that's the store. That's the
Okay.
store that I went, and that's where I got my Olympia.
Okay.
So that's a good place to connect probably as well, right?
It is, but like to be honest, the prices that he listed them, I felt like they're overpriced. Like it's you don't want to know how much I spent on my Olympia.
I say that every time I see a price on a typewriter. I'm like, it's way too much. Way too much.
Yeah, like I saw they have a Hermes 3K in the store actually, but there was some like damage in it, but he's selling it for like 700. I'm like, no way.
Wow.
No. I got mine for way less.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like you know the what is that called? The margin indicators?
Yes.
The red ribbon on the Hermes that you can like adjust the margin, it's not there. But that was like $700. I'm like, not for that price.
Yeah.
Sounds like a career opportunity for you, Diane.
I thought about it. I want to get into it, but it's like I already have so many hobbies. If I'm gonna try to get into this, I need to get tools. I need to do so much research to learn how to fix them. Like maybe another time, but like for now, I don't think I can.
Just keep the candle lit.
Yeah, for sure. Are any of you guys repairing? How many?
It depends, actually, because there's things that you realize you can fix with something small, and it kind of over time it kind of grows on how complex you're willing to deal with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to at least start learning how to take out my platen, so I don't have to bring it to a store and have them do it for me. Because I know who I can ship it to JJ Short, but like I just don't know how to take the platen out.
It's
like
different.
The Olympia SM4, when I was asking the store owner in Berkeley Typewriters, he's like, oh, it's super difficult. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think it's that
It is
difficult.
more difficult than others. Let me just say that.
Yeah, there is some. But like I think the reason why he told me that is because he wants me to go back to like spend money, you know. But I'm like, I think I can figure that out with some help.
A lot of times it's easier to get it out than to put it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You might find some success with drawbands once you learn about how they work. They're not that difficult to repair.
Yeah, drawbands too. I also want to learn that. Just like the basic stuff, like not necessarily like the more complicated stuff, or like with the what's that, the type bars? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
The one that's like hitting on the platen. Yeah, those, like I don't want to get too much like the internal structure, but more like the basic, like if you're just a regular user, you're using your own typewriter, and then if it's like something basic that like something is just isn't working, like the drawband or the platen needs to be replaced, or like the foot needs to be replaced, the rubber part. Like, yeah, just something basic like that to start off, just so I don't get like too overwhelmed with like.
I was going to say, Diane, one of the biggest issues is always going to be that the typewriters need to be cleaned and degreased when you first get them. So you can learn to do that. That's not super hard. And then as far as like taking platens out, the other thing is just start collecting Smith Coronas.
I heard a lot of good things about them too. Yes, I actually want to, but like I don't have a big house and I can't store that many babies. I already have 2. I want a 3rd one. Like I don't know if any of you guys has Princess 300.
No.
I love that one. It's so gorgeous. But they mostly come in quartz layout, the keyboard.
Oh yeah.
I'm only used to QWERTY, and like I know it's just the two Z and Y that's been switched, but yeah, I'm just gonna stick with QWERTY.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's more.
you actually
There's more
use the-
keys also that are different on the right hand side.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the top row. But
right. Yeah.
But Princess is not that easy to work on.
It's not.
Not that easy.
How
to work
so?
on. Well, because it's very compact.
Yeah, it's the portable.
Yeah.
Would you say?
I find Smith Coronas, like Joe said, I find Smith Coronas are easy, and I have some Olympias and I find them easy, but
like on a scale of 1 to 10 for like someone who does not know anything about typewriter, like 10 being like really difficult for someone who doesn't know anything to fix, or like 1 as in like it's super easy, anyone could deal with it.
It depends on your skills. It really
I have no
does.
skills. I'm like brand new. So
I mean, like SM9, you know, the Olympia, the whole lid flips up, and I mean, it's pretty straight shot to the insides of that machine. I think it's a great machine to repair. I guess even the Hermes 3000, I think the way that the carriage comes off, and it's a little finicky, you know, taking the outer covers off and stuff, but I think that's relatively easy to work on as well. But there's a lot of information out there on that machine too. But I can't imagine. I know some of you don't repair or really don't even get too deep into fixing machines. I can't imagine not making that connection with something, you know, because it's almost like the most important step for me is, you know, it's like really finding out what's going on with this machine, you know, and not that there's anything wrong with not doing your own servicing, but I would have a hard time, and I would never trust anybody else to do it. Like I would say, no, you know, I would never believe that anybody else could do it as well as I could have learned it at some point. Maybe I don't have the skill now, but eventually.
Yeah.
You know, also another thing that helps out a lot is just knowing how the typewriters function, what makes them work, not necessarily to take it apart, but you know, all the linkages and how it connects and the on off and what makes stuff move. Once you understand that, you can go to a flea market or a thrift store where somebody's going to sell you something that's not working, and you might find out that it really does work. It's just not set up right. But they don't know how to fix it or how to get it working right. It doesn't necessarily always take a mechanical fix, just an operational kind of fix. And if you understand that with the experience on just going through the typewriters and looking how they operate, that'll help you out. I fixed a couple of them that I was buying that were advertised as not working. You know, and when you just kind of look into it, you don't even need tools. You just figure out what they didn't do right.
Drawbands that have become disconnected are like that. I've gotten 2 or 3 at thrift stores that just had the drawband unhooked. And you just got to move the carriage, wrap it around, and put it back on. It's like a 5-minute fix, but it'll be sold for $5 because they don't think it works.
Right, exactly. That's the kind of thing. Or if you can't fix it on the spot, you can know that you're comfortable fixing drawbands, so that's not a deal breaker for you.
Or the classic Olympia SM3 washers.
Yes.
That's such an easy fix, and most of them are toast. So you can fix it for 30 cents in 20 minutes, and it's 4 screws. So it's really quite an easy fix.
Mm-hmm. That is one repair that I am willing to do, and they're not many. But you know, the other thing too, Diane, is to join the Antique Typewriter Maintenance Facebook group. And there's a lot of hints and things on there. There's even a whole deal about taking apart a Smith Corona, the Rebel project, and how to clean, or watch some YouTube videos. Joe has some YouTube videos of how to clean a typewriter, and certainly Dwayne Jensen at Phoenix Typewriter has some great videos too. But it's okay if you never feel comfortable repairing a typewriter. Don't let these guys fool you. Some of us are not mechanically inclined. I am one of those people.
Yeah,
I
same.
freely admit it.
No
I
I mean, I will
disrespect.
do the washers on an SM3 or SM4, but I am not going to delve into all the guts of a typewriter. I'm very nervous even taking it apart that I won't be able to get it put back together.
That's the main reason why I don't want to start this
So,
journey.
so don't feel badly about that.
Yeah.
One hint is to buy cheap and then get it serviced. So for example, my Hermes Ambassador, I paid $50, and to get it serviced, it's going to cost me $189. Right now on eBay, there are Hermes Ambassadors for $699 that they're asking. So I've already saved money, and I've got a typewriter that I adore, and a professional is going to fix it.
Great strategy, Susan.
So, there's a lot of ways to get the typewriter that you want and get it to be the way that you want it to be, you know?
William, you had a comment? You're muted.
Okay. So Diane, as long as I can see myself here, talking about the SM4 shift. If a person moves the carriage all the way to one way or the other, you'll see back here is a small screw with a nut on it.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath there is a spring. Turn the nut down on the thread and you'll increase the spring tension. And there's one on the other side as well. You might need to
Wait, let me actually get my typewriter because I think
margin release. Did I mute myself again?
No, we hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, and there is one on the other side as well.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Right there.
oh, that okay. Wait, hold on. Let me get it.
It's
That's
not
awesome.
hard to do. And what I do recommend is turning the nut so you have an equal amount of thread above, poking out from the nut either side.
Yeah.
The studs themselves have two flats on them, so the studs do not turn in the bracket. I think it's like a 7
Oh, I
millimeter.
see it. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like a 7 millimeter wrench will fit that, maybe 8. Of course, it's metric. And so just give each nut about 1 or 2 turns at a time until you get the feel that is better for you.
Yeah, but I don't have the tools to unscrew this nut, this bolt though.
You just have a small pair of flat nose pliers.
The pliers will. Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, unless they're rusted, they are not tight. They should just turn easily.
So you said just like loosen it up, and that will help with the.
No.
Tighten it up.
Tighten it. Oh.
Yeah.
Because the nut stays still, and when you turn the nut, it pulls the stud up through the hole.
Right.
Puts more tension on the spring.
I'm gonna see if I can try to do it right now. Because I'm curious.
Go clockwise, not counterclockwise, because if that thing pops out, you're going to have a bigger problem trying to get it all back together.
Yeah. Never take the nut
Now
off the
you made her
stud.
nervous, Sean.
No pressure.
No, yeah, really.
Yeah, if you're
think about
really,
it,
if
and
you're
you'll be
really
okay.
sneaky, if you're really
Yeah, we're all
sneaky-
watching.
You said clockwise?
Yes.
Oh wait. I need to. Oh no, my camera has blurred. Okay. Clockwise. Okay.
Oh, you're a professional hugger too?
Huh?
You're a professional hugger too. Just
Oh,
like
this is my my partner's cousin's company.
Oh.
Yeah. It stands for something else, but oh my god, this bolt is really loose.
Well, I say, don't worry about it being loose. It is made to be easily adjustable. They gave.
Now, you don't want to necessarily tighten it all the way down.
Go all the way just a little bit and then try your shift again.
Give each nut 2 full turns. You're turning about 1/3 of a turn each time. So 6 of those on each nut, then try again.
Clockwise, right?
Yeah, you're doing it right.
Okay. Because I just feel like I don't know if the spring is moving.
I say,
then you want to do the same amount on the other side.
Yeah.
Now you want to go to the other
That's about as
side.
far as you want to go on that one. Now turn the other one the same number of turns.
Wait.
There is a button on the keyboard which either says MR or has 4 dots on it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, press that, then you can move the carriage all the way to the right and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
But you have the most snazziest purple pliers of anybody. That we have.
Oh, this is for jewelry making.
I know, that's what's cool. You have tools.
Typewriter
It's
is jewelry.
perfect for a typewriter tool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So try
Does
your
that mean it works now?
Just see how the shift feels.
Now try the shift key and see how it feels.
It's still the same. Wait.
Well, tighten a bit more then.
Huh?
Then go
Tighten
back
them
and
a
do
bit
it
more.
some more.
Oh, do more? Okay.
Just be careful.
Just-
You can tighten them so much that the screw will come up and interfere with the carriage on some models. So
It will?
yeah, well, if you get it right to the very, very top, sometimes it'll hit the bottom of the back of the carriage. So
Yeah. So it's a matter of balancing your shifts, and my machine here is almost at the maximum spring tension, and there's still
heavy.
I'd say a good 1/8 of an inch 3/16 clearance, about 5 to 6 millimeters clearance between the top of the screw and the chrome carriage end cap. So that's me done now.
Excellent.
Oh, I feel a little bit of a difference.
There you go.
Wow.
On the right track.
Thank
William,
you.
can you show it again, the on your typewriter, because I can see yours.
Who am I
I'm
talking
sorry.
with?
The
Diane
adjust,
Mayer.
the screw that you adjust.
Okay.
Sorry, Dan. I
Move
meant to send you
carriage
that picture.
all the way to the right. And the one screw is there. It's actually a nut that you turn. Do not turn the screw, turn the
A
nut.
nut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's
Okay,
partner,
I
it's
see
the
it.
other side.
And there's one that's exactly the same on the other side.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And you just have to do them evenly.
Oh,
As evenly
okay.
as evenly as possible.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, okay. I see it now. All right.
makes
Thanks a
sense?
lot. Yeah.
Live
Excellent.
typewriter instruction. This is cool.
And our bills in the
know.
mail. Luckily, it's in Canadian funds.
Yeah, it'll only be like $2.
$2. Oh.
We're an online repair shop. It should be crypto.
Very cool. I love it when this sort of thing happens. You know, people helping people like live while we're on YouTube, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And
the
Daniel
last-
also had a great idea for her in the chat for you, Diane. That is, there's a young woman named Sarah Everett, and she has YouTube videos, and it's under Just My Typewriter.
Oh yeah, I've
And she does cleaning and repairing videos as well.
Yeah, I've seen her videos.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yep. That was Daniel that thought of that.
Very good. Hopefully
Um,
we'll get her on here one day. That'd be fun.
One other thing to be very aware of, if you do take the platen off off a Olympia SM3, SM4, SM7, on the end of the platen, there are 3 screws that go in at 120 degrees apart, and there are 3 holes in the right-hand carriage support. Those screws must index with those holes. If you don't, you'll damage the carriage support.
That sounds scary.
Well, thank you, William.
I had an interesting project where I was given an SM4 and the carriage was, the platen would not work on it. I took it off, put it back on again, looked at it. It took a little while for me to find out that the platen was actually from an SM7, which was 5 millimeters shorter than the SM4 pattern. So it took a little bit of figuring, but I did eventually get it working again.
Yeah.
I had to drill a set of new holes in the right-hand carriage support, so the right-hand end of the platen sat 5 millimeters further in, so left-hand end worked with the line advance and line release properly. Okay.
Excellent.
That's that little job done. And hang on. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, William. Yeah.
They can get, yep. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Carry on.
Let's see. So Diane Wang, it was very good to meet you, and I'm so glad you joined us, and I hope you'll join us again because you're one of us now. You did a live repair on your typewriter, so
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I just have a quick question.
Yes.
Since this is my first time, how long is the meeting, and like, is this every Sunday?
Every Sunday. Yeah. So originally it was 9 to 1 Pacific, but I recently changed it to 10 to 1 because I just can't do the 4 hours anymore. But it's 3 hours, so
so it's like a cult, and Gregory's our cult leader, but he's getting tired of it. Being cult leader.
But not everybody's on here the whole time either.
Except me.
It's like an open house. You can come and go as you wish. So
yeah,
you can join late, or you can come early and leave early, or you can come and stay however you want to. You cannot come for 2 weeks and then show up. You cannot come for 2 months and then show up.
Or Diane, you can be like Carlos and you can pop in and out 16 times during the meeting, and that's
exactly.
Yeah. I don't know how Gregory
so
does
it's very
it. I mean,
casual, and you can just come whenever you feel like it, and
so Gregory
will be here. And then there's also on Saturdays, but if you're not busy on Saturday nights, there's also a group that meets on a different YouTube, or not YouTube, but a different
Zoom link
channel. Yeah.
It's all on Type Pals, Diane. We can help you out with that if you need to find
it.
But Gregory,
Type Pals events.
Gregory, have you ever thought about maybe having guest hosts to allow you to be normal, and then you just rotate people through when they, you have confidence that they're not going to take up 3 hours talking.
John is dressed for it.
No,
I know.
I'm not volunteering. I'm just asking.
We're trying to get rid
you
of
are.
Because
we were going to nominate you.
Well, because I worry you burn yourself out. I mean, you put in a lot of time and effort here, and you made a comment, geez, probably about a year or more ago about it is a lot of work for you. And so we're sort of hinged upon you having the time, energy, and desire to do this every week, and eventually that's going to, wane a bit.
Yeah, you'll get old and die at some point.
Well,
Thanks,
that's
Brian.
a little excessive, but Brian's correct in a scientific sense.
It needs to be a order of succession.
Yeah.
President, Secretary of Typewriters,
Vice President.
Well, I mean, I like the idea of like rotating hosts, but I at the same time I have to keep in mind that I have to be very aware of copyright infringements, and like if someone suddenly is playing music, I need to like shut it down quick because otherwise the channel gets shut down. So
then Greg's on the hook.
Yeah. So and that actually happened. I had a music related channel, and I was doing a live stream. I had permission from the people that put out the music. I had permission to play it, and YouTube still shut me down, and I was banned from doing live streams for 3 months. So yeah, that would be devastating. But at the same time, we also have the solution where we have those occasional no host episodes or you guys just hang out and yeah. So, but I appreciate you thinking about me though, Sean.
Oh, yeah, no, I think we're all concerned. We know when you take time off and we have no problem with it. We just want to make sure you don't like go into a mental hospital one day because you're like, type pals, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, we pay you good money to do this.
Yeah, we pay you good money, man.
There you go.
You get 2 weeks a year leave already and 1 sick day every 2 months.
Okay.
And a good pension plan.
Yeah. I think this September, if I remember correctly, is going to be 3 years. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is crazy, and it's crazy how it's grown from when it first started. I remember the first meeting, I didn't join it on the YouTube first meeting. I was too shy, but I remember there was maybe 6 people. And then pretty soon it grew to there was like 12 people, and boy, we thought that was a lot of people on YouTube and on the Zoom meeting. And now look, we have people from all over the world.
I know, I love it.
It always astonishes me, and it's just so wonderful. And everybody's so helpful to one another. I love that.
No.
Unfortunately, Germany has to go to bed now.
Yep.
Good night.
Nacht, Robert.
Auf Wiedersehen,
Gute Nacht.
Deutschland.
Yeah. Thank you, Robert.
I was kind of struck by that this recently because I was looking for parts for my ambassador. And so, I contacted the guy in Switzerland, and he was able to find me the parts that I needed and sent them to me, and they arrived really quickly and well packaged and everything. And really, he didn't charge me very much, I didn't think, considering. And I was thinking, isn't that amazing that you can get parts for your machine from all over the place? And people are so kind that they really care enough to look for them for you. It was really nice.
Yes.
So I just want to say to everyone, thank you for being supportive of one another. It's so lovely.
Yes.
Jacques is pretty great, isn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like helping Diane adjust her Olympia.
Yeah.
Really awesome. Y'all did a great job.
Yeah, I want to say, I appreciate that. That was very helpful and just nice to have a community of people where they're just so friendly to want to help one another.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you're one of us now, so.
Thank you.
And if the 49ers get in the Super Bowl, that's an authorized absence for you.
That won't happen, Rich.
Oh.
I keep dreaming. I worked on the Presidio for 8 years, Diane. That's why I say that.
Oh, okay. And how are you, Rich?
Oh, I'm doing great. Not a whole lot of typewriter activity. Last week I swapped out my Galaxy, which I have had here for over a year because I like it so much. I got bold and swapped it for the electric that I found. I was going to swap it anyway because I need to, get my rotating a little more. But I just happened to come into this one last week, so I like it. I like it's snappy, a nice electric, and I do like that about electrics. It's got issues that I had written down or typed. So it came with an ink, and it's got a ribbon that has correction tape on it, and the way it works. This is Smith Corona is you just hold a lever back and then when it's over the error and then just repress that key that you made the mistake with and it puts white on there. And so that's kind of cool. So it's like a bichrome type of ribbon, white on the bottom and black on top. And fortunately, this came with another one in a cellophane wrapper in a box. And the bad news is it doesn't really print that darkly. It seems kind of light to me. So now that would be the next question is, do I just get a normal?
I would, Rich. I would advise just getting a normal ribbon. And then
Yeah.
just use correction tabs instead of using the correction ribbon. My Olympia reporter has that feature also, and I just don't use it because you can't really get darkly inked ribbons with those correction things. And also you're missing out on the color red, because that's what I like to do is I like to type, anything emphatic, I type it in red or underline it.
Yeah.
Dramatic.
So, to do that with this, I'd have to hold that little lever back to type a word out in red, but hold it the whole time while I'm typing.
You could just backspace and then put your correction tab in front of the printing guide, the print point, and just hit the key again. You don't need to use that lever.
We're crossing the bridge of saying, well, one of the cool features about this is that correction feature.
Yeah, but it's also
it's
also the source of all the white particles that are in the machine.
Yes. You're right about that. There's a bunch of dust in here.
It's really a choice of having a really dark imprint with a good Baco ribbon, in my view, or having that correction feature with kind of a faded ribbon. That's kind of the choice that you have to choose.
Trade off.
Yeah.
So that's one issue. Another issue is the exclamation mark. For whatever reason, it doesn't have one. Now you kind of expect that on older machines, but I don't know when this one was made, but I'm sure it was in the 70s. And I thought they stopped doing that. I didn't know that they still made them without, where you have to go back with an apostrophe and a period.
Does that have a change of type key?
It does.
Maybe that's where it is, and maybe the change of type key is where you need it.
It could be. They've got two square brackets on a key that could probably be. I think it's got two keys that can get swapped out, but I don't have them, so maybe I'd have to hunt for them.
Just don't type anything exciting and you won't need that.
You mean be normal?
In fact, when you made the statement earlier that it doesn't have an exclamation mark, that sentence should have been ended with an exclamation mark.
And yet I can't do it.
Can't do it.
Because I can't. The other problem is the period. It doesn't imprint very darkly, either if I capitalize it or just hit it normal. So now that not only takes periods away from me, but it takes exclamation marks away from me. Because now if I put an exclamation mark, the apostrophe is left. But the next problem is the apostrophe doesn't work very darkly either. So there's issues. And somebody was talking about this earlier. I don't remember who, but if you get a machine that's a good machine, but not functioning properly, it may as well not be a good machine, and this, I happen to think I like this if it were some of those issues were resolved.
So Rich, regarding the two characters that don't print very darkly, it could be type bar alignment, but it could also just be try using a backing sheet and just to see if they make it any darker. Because it could just be that it's the ribbon.
Yeah.
And it's just that some characters don't hit quite as hard as others, and if the ribbon's faint enough, then it looks really bad on those characters. So
that's worth a try. Yeah.
And also, if you have a sheet of carbon paper, you could try a carbon paper with a regular sheet of paper and put the color selector on stencil and just see what it looks like with a carbon paper, and that'll give you an idea without the ribbon being an issue. It'll give you an idea of how the imprint actually is.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. That's
you can at least troubleshoot it a little bit that way.
Different options.
Yeah.
And then I know I'm going to rotate this because I'm trying to rotate them. So how long am I going to keep it here? I don't know. But I think it would be a noble idea to say I won't rotate till I get it working right. Which
yeah, you might get tired of it, but
probably that'll happen first, right? So that's Gregory, I saw your video. I just wanted to show you.
Let me zoom in on it. Nice.
This is yours. Yours is gray, I think.
Yeah.
On your video. I got this one in Switzerland. We ran a marathon in Switzerland and I had to get my Zurich fountain pen, and I found this in a store. So
what brand is it?
It's a Faber-Castell.
Oh, Faber-Castell. Okay. Yeah.
And
the
so I got
Loom.
Yeah, Loom, and I got both the matching roller ball and the fountain pen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I like the orange. It's kind of a burnt-ish orange.
Nice.
Which your video showed a brown, I think a script brown. And I was surprised you were saying it was sort of pinkish, because from my screen it didn't show that. So
okay,
it showed it more like a burnt-ish orange brown. But I don't, that's just our video monitors. Who knows?
Yeah, or my eyes.
Or yeah, you never know. We're all different, right?
Yeah.
That reminds me, Rich, I was going to tell you, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to send you $5 in the mail. $2, please spend it on the next little Ziploc bag of fountain pens you find at the sale. And then the $3 is to ship it to me. So it should arrive pretty soon.
Interesting thing that, so one of the expensive, I'm drawing a blank on the type of pen, the expensive one anyway. See, it's contagious.
You got me.
It's contagious. But Pelican. And so one of the problems with that is it was really jammed. I could not move the piston up and down. When I decided to try and clean it out, it was completely jammed. So I soaked the end of it. I couldn't take off the end with the either end. Actually, I couldn't take either end apart. So I soaked it in water. It kept bleeding all over. I could never drain it from the ink. It just seemed like an endless supply of ink. Finally, I was able to loosen it up because I just a little bit, try and open it up a little bit over about 3 or 4 days. And I managed to get the nib out. And so when I separated the nib section from the rest of the pen and opened it up, so then I finally got it cleared up. But I mean, it took some elbow grease, if you will, to finally get it cleaned up. I've got it all cleaned up and working except for the nib, which I think I might have to separate that from the rest of that section, and because it's still bleeding a lot of ink. I stick it in water, it still bleeds a lot of ink. So
yeah,
but interesting. I suspect that they may have used some ink they shouldn't have, and kind of just gave up on it.
Yeah, it's possible.
But it was still a good find, and as a good experience going through taking the Pelican apart and fixing it. So.
Yeah. Diane Wang, you had another comment?
Who?
Diane Wang?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I do. I have a question. So I did a type test yesterday after I got this service, replacing the new platen. And I noticed, I don't know if this is alignment issue, but when I don't know if you can tell, you see the C and the W, it's touching. This is on the lowest setting for the line spacing. It's how it has 3 settings. It's on the lowest. But before I got it serviced, it never touched. But after I got it back again, it's now touching. And if you look at this line, you see how close they are. The letters are touching.
Yeah, that's a feature. That's a feature of that cursive.
Yeah, but that's what I was thinking. But before I got it serviced, I never had this problem though. I know the letters are a little bit longer.
Who serviced it? Can you get them to look at it again? Because that would be a question for him, I would think, because he adjusted something that caused it to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, but Larry, they are aligned. I just looked at it. That's because some capital letters are, what's the term? They go below the line. So you have to use it on 1.5.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
look at the C.
That's the Olympia 75, the tall script. And so Daniel's absolutely right. You have to use it on the 1.5 line spacing.
That is the exact same font on my Olympia SM4. And if you single space, it will look crowded. Set it to 1.5 line spaces, it looks beautiful.
Now I agree with that as far as that's been my experience too. And just you'll have a little, if you even have red, if you use a red and black ink, you'll see red on the lower parts of them. And so that's part of that problem. But I've never seen a brand new one, but since she said when she serviced it, it didn't do that. then that automatically tells you that. Now, I don't know what else was wrong when she had it serviced, or if she just had it serviced, but that if it changed something, then that means it can be changed back too.
You just change the line selector from 1.5 to 1.
Right.
That's all that happened when it was being serviced.
Yeah.
Set it
And
back
then
to
you
1.5.
There's a
you're
chance.
saying-
There's a chance that it was set to 1.5
Yeah, I
before,
got
and when it went into service, the person who serviced it just set it back to 1 for some reason.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was saying.
That would, and I'm totally agree with you that easily could have happened.
Yeah.
There's also some of the letters that are just the higher lower ones. So with the like C and E, they have like more prominent descenders. So if you don't have C or E overlining with a capital below it, then it won't be as prominent. Though I did just check, I happen to have a script 75 here, and that same combination of C and W, it does look like for this particular one on one line spacing, there is a tiny bit of space between them. So C and W weren't touching directly. So I don't know how much that helps, but that may also be like a machine specific thing, depending on what your actual like line to line spacing actually is. So
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I have another question though. Like for someone who uses their typewriter really often, like how long does the platen last for you? Because I just got mine replaced and I don't use mine that often. Like I will only use it when I'm responding to letters. And I only have like 4 pen pals right now. So like I don't type on it that often. So I'm guessing it will last a long time, but I'm just curious to know that for someone who uses
It should last a long time, but know that it's not just using it that causes the platen to get hard. It's also just time itself.
Oh.
So sometimes the rubber gets hard on the machines because of the age of the platen. It's just the rubber deteriorates over time.
No, wait a minute. Gian, do you mean the ribbon?
No, not the
No,
ribbon,
she's
platen.
talking about the platen.
The rubber platen. Because I know getting it replaced, it costs a good amount of money. So I was just curious to know that, like.
It also depends on the conditions under which the typewriter is stored. So you think about if you buy a thrift store typewriter and it was in somebody's garage for 50 years.
Exactly.
And it was not room temperature. It was hot and cold. So that may have an effect on the age of the rubber also. So if you leave it indoors in your house, and it'll probably last for many, many decades of use.
Yeah.
Decades.
Yeah. It's not something that you
Oh, okay. I thought I had to do it often.
No.
If you think about when you buy a used typewriter at a store, most of mine come from thrift stores, and the platen is rock hard, but the typewriter is 50 or 60 years old. It's never had a new platen. So that's a 50 or 60-year-old rubber, and it's still usable with a backing sheet,
Right.
So yeah. I
That's
don't
what
think
I
you're going to worry
heard
about it.
people saying, like, if you want your platen to last longer, you put at least like 2 sheets of paper in it.
Yeah, it does help, right?
And
is it just like regular paper, or do you need like a thick paper behind it and then a thin one on the front?
The second sheet is just going to dampen the impact of the type bar against the rubber, keep it from getting those little pock marks from excessive wear. So it's a good idea, but it will help extend the life of it a little bit.
Because I remember when I was working with them decades ago, we were taught to put that backing sheet all the time. That was kind of common. So you always type with 2 sheets. And the other thing is we always used to get scolded if we were using no sheets, just pressing the keys on the bare platen. And it doesn't seem like people care about that today, but it was a big deal back in the day. It was.
Oh yeah.
And there was a time when people used their typewriters all in the offices. There was rows and rows of people using them 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, or 50 hours a week. And I'm sure that had an effect on how long the platen lasts too.
Yeah, how much you use it.
I kind of made up my own rule about backing sheets, and what I figure is that the paper total should be 50 pounds. So if you're using a sheet of 20 pound for your copy paper, you should have about a 30 pound for your backing sheet.
That's the thing I don't know, because I just use regular printer paper.
Which is, it should say on the package about 20 pounds. or 75 grams per square meter?
Yeah, it'll tell. Usually I've seen it always pounds. I get the thickest stuff I can find and it's 40 pounds when I go to Walmart and get it. Other than card stock.
I usually use a sheet of 32-pound backing paper when I'm typing on 16-pound type paper.
So Diane, here's my SM3 with the script. So for my
the CNWs.
So that's just on single spacing, so they're just touching.
Yeah.
So it's normal then. It's not because mine is damaged or something.
It's every typewriter is a little different. I mean, Bill might have something that's spaced a little differently, or the bar is bent just a little bit more to give a little more space. But that's just single spacing on this particular one, and it's fine for everything else. So I'm not really worried about it. If I really want
Assuming
to,
Sean is normal,
Sorry,
assuming Sean is normal.
Well, that is subjective.
Thanks for sharing that, Sean.
Yeah, no problem.
If I can, just for a minute, we were talking about electric versus manual. Even though it's a fairly new one, I think this is probably my favorite electric typewriter. Smith Corona Citation cartridge. Nice, snappy, quick, easy printing. And the thing I like about these, change a cartridge just like you're changing the magazine in a rifle.
Yeah.
Is that the one that you can make a correction? Like you can actually erase the.
Yep. Yeah, you can. And I got a unicorn. Blue ribbon. Single pass.
Very nice.
A film.
That is so cool.
Very
I
hard
haven't
to find.
tried electric. I'm curious how they work compared to like manual. Like how different would you say they are? Electric versus manual.
It's different.
In a typing instruction book I once read, it says when you're typing on a manual, you stab the key really quickly as if it's hot, but give it a good firm strike. When you're typing on electric, you stroke the key with your finger until it fires. So on electric, your touch is really light. On a manual, you are the driving force behind the type bar hitting the paper. On electric, you are just engaging the mechanism to make the drive roller move the type bar in. On an electronic typewriter or daisy wheel, you are just inputting the information into the electronic circuitry. The circuitry then rotates the daisy wheel and hits it with a hammer.
Really, that citation you have, that's almost exactly like the one I just got. Yours is different with the cartridge, but mine is a citation power correct, and it doesn't have the cartridge, just has a regular ribbon.
Yeah.
And Joe, I just tried this with your suggestion. It worked a little bit better, but not consistently better, putting 2 sheets in. But I did notice a little bit of improvement. So it was a good idea. Maybe I should use backing sheets all the time, huh?
I always do.
Maybe getting a new ribbon might also.
Yeah, right.
Using both, right? A new fresh ribbon plus a backing sheet. So
Yeah, with ribbon, I heard there's a difference with ribbons too. Like apparently there's the silk one and then there's the regular nylon one, and people are saying the silk is better, but how can you tell?
And there's also cotton. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's cotton. But like I heard the silk is like the best of all.
Oh yeah, it's sweet.
It's sweet. Like I heard the print quality, it's like crisp, right?
Try each kind of ribbon on your typewriter and see what works best, because sometimes a cotton ribbon will have too much ink. Sometimes it'll print best. So,
but how can you tell the difference though? Because like when you buy the ribbon, I mean, at least the one that I got, they don't have labels on it, so I honestly don't know.
They'll generally be nylon for the most part. You have to specifically go and get cottons or silks. So what you'll normally find is nylon, and I mean they're good, but you know what? Go out and buy one of each, and then try them on your typewriters, and you'll love them. You'll see the difference.
So I would recommend calling Ribbons Unlimited. Is a place that sells typewriter ribbons, and he sells nylon, cotton, and silk.
Wait, can you repeat the name? Sorry.
Ribbons Unlimited.
Oh, on Etsy or eBay?
It's on that's their own website. So ribbonsunlimited.com. And you can actually call them up. There's a phone number there. You can talk to them during normal business hours and tell him what kind of typewriter you have, and he'll send you the right style spool. So yeah, you can try those out
too.
Yeah,
Money's amazing.
Or if you're not old school, you can just use the website.
Yeah,
I found the website.
So when you normally, oftentimes he'll sell you the ribbon with only one spool, and you have to connect the other end of this ribbon to your old spool, or you could ask him to sell you both spools already connected together. You know. So.
Yeah, I heard about, speaking of spools, like apparently, so my old one, the mahogany, I forgot what was it called?
Montgomery Ward.
Yeah, that one. It came with like metal spools.
Yeah, those are the best because they're the best. The plastic ones have a tiny little plastic hook inside the middle of the hub that you attach the ribbon to. And if you try pulling the ribbon off, it'll break the hook. And then the spool isn't really as useful. You have to be careful when you I usually cut it with a scissors, cut the ribbon to get it off the plastic hook. But the metal spools have a metal hook and they don't break. So, and they're also older. So they're kind of like period spools, you know, from when the typewriter was new. The other option with ribbons is, if you feel like doing a little more tinkering, is you have to call them on the phone, but there's a company called Baco Ribbon and Supply Company, BACO, and she sells bulk ribbons in 330 yard spools, and you wind them onto your own ribbons. But the beautiful thing about them is they're really darkly inked. They're nylon ribbons, so they last. Fabric is nylon, but they're darkly inked. They have a lot of ink in them. And if you spool them up yourself, you can save some money, right? They're cheaper. You do have to add your own eyelets. You know how the auto reversing eyelets on either end. So you have to crimp your own eyelets, but you can get those at the craft stores. So if you want to do a little do-it-yourself, the Baco ribbons, I think, are the best.
Brian's doing a demonstration.
Oh, there you go. Baco ribbon, or it's a bloody pizza. What is it?
Messy.
Halloween yet?
Yeah,
and you can get different colors at Baco as well. They also have cotton. I've gotten blue, purple, and black or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's either a ribbon or a bag of meat, one or the other.
Yeah.
So that's an option also.
Yes. So we have about 25 minutes left and several people to speak to. So we're going to go ahead and move on. Let's see here. First of all, Rich, was there anything else new with you? Because I think we were talking to you and got sidetracked.
Oh, it's interesting. Thank you. Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent. It looks like okay. I think his video has stabilized, but Bill Rhoda, how are you?
Hi, how are you, Gregory?
Very good, very good. I've been wanting to see you. So how are things at the shop?
Good, busy. Yeah, it's been a crazy year so far. We bought Coleman Manufacturing early on this year for Selectric, Xerox, Wheelwriter components. So we kind of split the business internally. Brian's running the Coleman side, and I'm running the Platen and manual mechanical side. Brian's also doing still the IBM Selectrics with 2 new apprentices under him. So yeah, it's just been moving along. We have a type-in coming up in 2 weeks. So it's our first type-in after all these years open. So it's the first type-in that Philly's had since 2014. So we're gearing up for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I know you've been on here before, but I don't know that we ever got an official introduction from you. So would you like to do that?
Oh, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Bill Rhoda. I'm a co-owner of Philly Typewriter here in Philadelphia, PA. We have a 2,000 square foot storefront in South Philadelphia on East Passyunk Avenue. We have, I don't even know, there's 6 of us now, just trying to keep up with the demand on the East Coast for typewriters. And yeah, I'm kind of a typewriter collector, but not really. I mean, like I'm I'm surrounded by them all day at the shop. So
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, I don't have time for my own. And every time I get, I find, there's occasionally like somebody brings one in, I'm like, oh man, now I got to have that. And so then I hunt that down. But the storage unit is steadily expanding, but they're not here. But I'm working on everybody else's. So yeah, it's that's kind of my background. But
And how did you get into typewriters?
So it was just a happenstance thing. I was teaching. I was a director of woodwinds for a college out in Illinois for about 5 years, and I got burned out on higher education. And I moved back to Philly, my hometown, and my partner and we moved in around the corner, where we are now, in South Philadelphia. And my mom called me up in Northeast Philadelphia and asked me to take a box of Christmas decorations down to the basement. I did. And when I was down there, I saw her R.C. Allen typewriter sitting in the corner. And I remembered it as a kid. I used to beat the hell out of that thing. And I was like, I wonder if it still works. So I took it upstairs and there were no spools in it. At the same time, that like 3 months before I found her typewriter, Brian, my partner, he had just opened the first iteration, the brick and mortar location of Philly Typewriter, around the corner, a 5-minute walk from where I had just moved in. And so I called him, and instead of asking for the ribbon, I asked if he wanted help. And that's it. And I still never got the ribbon for the machine.
Well, you can go to Ribbons Unlimited.
Yeah, right. Give Lonnie a call. Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, but I had no background to this at all. I mean, it just kind of happened. And then I came in, and apparently I had a knack for it. And yeah, just the rest is history.
So would you say it's more the mechanics of it rather than what it is as a writing device that attracts you to typewriters?
Oh yeah, that's my whole bag. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I like to spend some time, I'll walk around, a few times a day, and I'll walk around the showroom, and I'll sit down, and I'll just like take a breather from turning screws, and I'll sit down and I'll write. But for the most part, it's figuring out every single one of them to, because we're working on machines from early 1900s to IBM Selectrics, and eventually we'll start to expand into electronics. But I think I enjoy the challenge of figuring out every make and model. Back in the day when you worked for Smith Corona, you knew Smith Coronas. You worked for Royal, you knew Royals. Now our job as mechanics, and all the apprentice staff and the journeyman mechanics that we're working with, like, they have to know every make and model. And that's the fun challenge, is that remembrance, is that like muscle memory, is getting in front of an SG1, is getting in front of a Royal QDL, and getting in front of a Smith Corona Super Silent, and remembering immediately your way around the machine. So that's what I love about it.
Excellent. What has been your favorite machine to work on?
Oh, it's Smith Coronas all day.
Okay.
Smith Corona. That's cheating. It's totally cheating. No, Smith Coronas are definitely my favorite, because they made it. They just, my God. I mean, what more could you want in a machine, as from a mechanical perspective? Like, what more could you want? I do enjoy Olympias. It's Smith Corona and Olympias are my favorite machines to work on. Adlers are pretty fun too.
Excellent. Very cool. Well, I'm so glad you could join us, Bill.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Let's see. Brendan Raftery.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How's your voice holding up?
Not bad. Haven't had a show in the last week, but I'm heading out of town next weekend for a couple, so I won't make next week. I'll be traveling from shows. This week has been great. I said the other day, and I've probably said it 50 times, no more machines. I've got enough. I got about 155. And then, of course, within an hour, I get an email saying, "Hey, did you see this one on Craigslist?" And it was a Hermes 3000 boxy with Techno Typeface for $40. And, you know, I can't let that go. It's not, you know, so, I mean, I can make space, you know, I'll you know, the kids are going to have to move out, but I'll make it. I'll make it. But you know, it's been great, and the topic this week about electrics, accuracy, and things like that. Well, last week it's kind of segues from last week where the topic was speed versus accuracy. So I was speed all the way. So you know, I bought one electric. I have had IBM Selectrics. None of them worked, so I got rid of them. And so I bought one Type Bar electric. It's 220 Electra 220, Smith Corona Electra 220. Sears rebranded as a Celebrity 12. So I got that, and I never even really took it out of its case. So the other day, I got an email from a lady that runs a care home. And she said, there's a 98-year-old guy here, he used to be a high school principal, and he can't write anymore with his hands. So we thought getting him a typewriter. So they contacted me. And then I thought, okay, you're 98, probably an electric would be the thing for him. You know, you don't have to type very hard. So I took this machine out of the box. It's literally brand new. And I'd never typed on an electric typewriter. I have 155 typewriters. I bought this thing probably a year ago, never even looked at it. And I loved it. This is last week. I'm like, this thing flies. It's awesome. And last week, I was one of the few about speed, forget accuracy. Yeah. So I loved it. I was smitten. So, and at the same time, I thought, well, I'm giving it away. So I cleaned it up. I'm going to be taking it over to them. And then I thought, well, now I need an electric. So what was missing is I didn't like the electric return key, because that takes the whole physical return out of it. That's part of the experience. So I got an electric 120 for $40 down the street, and it's awesome. I love it. And another little flaw that I could see being a flaw in those Electra 220s with the auto reverse or auto return is the plastic gear. That thing flies back. It goes so fast back. I could see that plastic drive gear being a bit of a, Achilles heel for it. So I thought, hey, take that out of the equation with the manual return arm, and the best of both worlds. So I'm all about, I kind of didn't want to get into the electrics because that's a whole other, can of worms, and I'll have 300 machines in another year. So I'm not going to go electric. I'm going to keep the 120, Electra 120, and be happy with that and stick to the manuals. I got, now I have 4 Hermes. Oh, another thing about this last week, a customer called me. He says he has a Hermes 3000, a random skipping issue once in a while, maybe every 5-6 lines, it'll skip a space. So I said, well, you can bring it by. I said, I have a 2000 that skips like crazy. And I bought it 2 years ago, right when I was starting typewriter, collecting, fixing myself. And it skipped like crazy. And then I thought, I'll dig into this. I'd looked at a few Smith Corona 5 series, and those Smith Corona 5s are forgiving and they're awesome to work on. They're amazing. They're simple. They're fixable. I dug into this 2000 and I was just getting in, and I thought, this is a different beast. This is the precision, the tolerances are much finer. And I thought, I'm not going to jump into this 2000 for a while. I got to learn how to fix machines better before I dive into this machine. I got that 2000 for $10. Came with all the manuals and the brushes, and it's immaculate except for the skipping issue. So the last night or night before last, I thought I should dig into this 2000. It's been 2 years. I've fixed hundreds of machines. So I thought, can I fix a Hermes? I don't know. So I took the carriage out, which is a different beast than the 3000. 3000 is a breeze. But and I fixed it. I don't know what I tightened up the needle screws and stuff. But yeah, so I got I felt a big sense of accomplishment on getting a 2000 from a skipping where you hold the key down and it's like looking like an electric. It was extreme. I posted it on the maintenance site or the maintenance group there. But yeah, I felt really, I was like, wow, I fixed a Hermes 2000. I felt really good about that. So now I'm, there's a guy with the skipping thing. I said, bring it by. So now I know I fixed a 2000. I have my new 3000 that I got this week, the boxy. I have my curvy. Kind of digging into those a bit just now to see how they work. I haven't really dug into them. And yeah, but that's yeah. So I like the electric. I like the speed. I really do. It's a different beast for typing on, that's for sure. And I enjoyed it so much. I thought, I'm gonna get I'm only gonna buy one. So that's my. So that's but it's been a good week.
Excellent.
Next weekend I go away for some shows and I pick up my final 3 machines that I bought a couple months ago on Marketplace. Like picking up Empire Aristocrat, British Baby, and what else am I getting? Oh, a Super a Silent SC Silent that somebody's given me. And the other one, I can't even remember what it is I bought, but I'll be picking it up. And
awesome.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, I'm going to try and curtail the purchasing. It's so quick and easy, and there's so many out there. And I had the thing where I'm trying to save them all, like gotta save them, but maybe somebody else can save them too. So
yeah. We have a whole group of people saving typewriters here.
Yeah, it's just when I never would have found that Hermes 3000 the other day because I don't really go on Craigslist much, and a bunch of people I know I collect, and they're sending me the things they're finding, and I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, everything's good though. It's up in Vancouver here. And I do think I'm the only person in the city that actually repairs typewriters. So I got some blade. This one I picked up this morning. It's an Olympia SM3. This lady got it given to her. And Olivetti letter of 32. She wants them cleaned up. But so while we've been talking, I did the same adjustment that Diane just did. To make the shift a little lighter. And I did the bushings in the bottom, not bushings, but the washers. Just while we've been talking. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Very
It's
cool.
things are great. And
Excellent.
on the road with the band again next week.
Nice. Well, so good to see you again, Brendan.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's see. Dan Rubin, how are you?
I'm good. Good to see everyone. Sorry I haven't been around the last few weeks. It's been had a crazy schedule, but a good one. I've been teaching large format photography workshops the last 2 weekends on the south coast of England. So those were my Saturdays and Sundays. Unfortunately, well, I mean, fortunately, but also it meant that my calendar alert kept popping up right as the workshop was ending. That you guys were all chatting, and I was sad. But it's been good. It's been good.
Excellent.
No, it's always lovely to be able to steal some time with all of you. And of course I can't seem to go. I'm not sure. I should have started to keep track when I first found Type Pals and started joining these lives to see if there were any even week to week, that I joined without getting another typewriter in between, because it definitely seems like every time I'm on here, I have something new. And I know we've talked about this before. Part of it is when I'm in the States, I don't tend to like find deals, but when I'm in the UK and Europe, like the people are almost giving them away because there's no real collector's market, especially in the UK. And my latest, I actually had found on Facebook Marketplace like 4 or 5 months ago. And it was just kind of a little out of the way, reachable by train, but not like where people would kind of go. So, and if you have things in London, they'll tend to disappear, but if they're outside, they can sit for months. And this one was too gorgeous to pass up.
Oh yeah.
So a nice gloss black Optima Elite 3.
Beautiful.
It had one owner. I got it from the granddaughter of the owner. So I got the whole story as well. It was bought for the grandmother by her mother when she started work in 58. It's a model that was made in 57, but that makes sense, you know, that would have been on the store shelves in early 58. And it types like a dream, and you could tell this woman took really great care of it. And like she worked for Unilever as well. That was like her primary job, and this was the machine that it was purchased for her to practice at home, because obviously she would have a machine in the typing pool at Unilever. And so this was her practice machine. And then I got the whole story written afterwards. Like I picked it up and I asked some questions, and the granddaughter didn't really know a ton. She was just kind of the one who was dealing with the sale of it. And then she went back, and the next day she like wrote me a thing and said, I asked my nan and here's what she said. So she also used to type envelopes on it after she had her kids later in life. To make extra money, she would type envelopes on this machine, which, you know, of course that was the thing. So it's also just, it's lovely to have a machine. I love all black machines. You don't come across them too often. And these the Optimas are great. So yeah, I'm very happy about that.
You should be.
And it's been, it's just typing brilliantly. I think even the silent return is silent, and there's still some give to the platen, and you just think, yeah, this thing was stored well, it was taken care of. It came with the case. I've just got it out of the case. The case is in good condition, like clearly hasn't been dropped or anything. It's just nice. So again, it's rescued, but whenever I can find ones that have that story attached to them, I feel like I have an even deeper connection to it. It's the same with my cameras too. I'm sure I've talked about that before, but it's just lovely. I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. And then because finding one deal in like a week isn't enough when it comes to being in the UK. I have a couple of saved searches. I know I'm sure I'm the only one who has saved searches on eBay in this group. It's just so dangerous in the UK because something will pop up and you go, oh, well, it's worth putting the opening bid on that for it because it's £15 and whatever. If I win it, I win it. But if someone else comes and grabs it, I don't need more. I'm running out of storage space. And I've won more than I care to admit that way. But I wonder if I can. I don't know if I can. I don't know if there's a way to share a photo of this because it hasn't. It's still en route. I want to share my screen. Can I share an image? Yes, I can. Maybe. No, I can't. I feel like I did this by accident.
Open up your image on your computer. And
yeah, I'll just do that and share the screen. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I feel like I did that accidentally before, but I wasn't trying to share my screen. I just shared a file and then suddenly everyone was looking at it. Okay, so now I'm going to share that. I can't talk about it. I can't give it away because I don't see these come up in any brand. Oop, that wasn't it. Are you seeing the typewriter? There we go.
Yes.
I think you are. So it's clearly seen some use. It's got some scratches on it, but this is a Bluebird rebranded torpedo. And this is the standard, which just I've seen a couple. I've seen some pictures of it, but it's rare enough as a Bluebird that it doesn't even exist on the typewriter database.
Oh wow!
Like it's not even listed on the typewriter database. So,
wow,
definitely no pictures of it. And
when are you putting it on the database?
Well, when it arrives, it should be with me in about a week. And again, this was like 15 pounds plus 10 pounds of shipping, because again, even the shipping within the UK, like you can have something shipped well and it's not expensive. So fingers crossed that it will be packed well. So far, I've been really lucky with all of that. But it's got a paper injector and as well, and it's looks like it has the decimal tab system as well. And I don't know, it's just not that I need more standards, but it's just really exciting to be able to find. I think the only ones that I'd seen that are Torpedo branded that I've come across, and it's maybe one or two in the last 2 years, were all QWERTZ, not QWERTY. So all the Bluebirds are made for the UK market. So that'll be very exciting. I'll stop the share there, but I will certainly let everyone know how that is once I get to play with it. There are a few other bits and pieces that I've found as well. Like I literally bits and pieces. I'd picked up. I think I'd probably said before I'd found myself the original model Hermes Ambassador, the like military green version, but with square keys. And it arrived, but I already knew it was missing. It was missing the spacebar cover, so it was just like the bare metal of the spacebar, and it was missing the S key and the left shift key, but it was in great condition otherwise. And so I wrote to Jacques in Switzerland, and like immediately the day I wrote to him, he got back to me and says, "Yes, I have those." And so again, like Susan was saying, very inexpensive, very quick. And they arrived last week, so I plugged them in. I mean, they're a perfect match, and that's instantly one of my favorite machines now. And then tomorrow I get to visit. I'm visiting Walid and Juju, who are Mr. and Mrs. Vintage Typewriter.
Oh yeah,
I've visited them a handful of times. They're in Milton Keynes, which is about a half an hour north of London. So they have my like light blue Olympia Splendid 99 that just had needed some love, needed the silent return spring made silent again. And I've met them a bunch of times, and like probably visited them 3 times, I think. The last time was in January, and they're lovely people, and I like chatting with them about all sorts of things. And I think I've mentioned the kind of documentary series that I want to start like filming, and they definitely are going to be one of the focuses of that. But I thought after visiting them and just having all these lovely chats and them welcoming me into their home and workspace, that I should actually give them something to work on and pay them to at least fix something of mine, because I'm happy tinkering. I like tinkering with the machines, but I didn't want to get into dealing with the escapement and silent return spring and all that. So it was the perfect opportunity. And oh my goodness, they Wally took like a couple of videos of before and after, because I didn't even do my normal cleaning to it. I just went, here you go. It's in great condition, but it is full of all the normal junk. And it's just so cool to see what, and I know there are folks in this group who actually do this for a living as well. It's so cool to see what people who do it for a living actually do to the machine, because I have lots of patience. I don't have that degree of patience.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to kind of see that tomorrow and use it. But yeah, otherwise things are good. I'm still always using the typewriter. I'm introducing more and more people to them wherever I go, because I'm still traveling even internationally with at least a portable. I mean, well, I'm not traveling internationally with a standard, that's for sure. But the next thing I need to do is be somewhere when any of these type-ins are happening, because or maybe I'll have to organize one of my own in some random place.
There you go.
I'm jealous of seeing all of them occurring where I'm not.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, it's so good to see you, Dan.
Likewise, and thanks for hosting this as always, Greg.
Of course.
So
Diane Mary, how are you? Diane Mary, how are you?
Oh, there she is.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I've been preoccupied.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I have a sick cat and she's just not
Oh.
really doing too well, and
oh,
yeah,
oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah.
All right. Well, I
Yeah,
guess we
she
better.
she turned 21 on Friday.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's crazy.
But she has spots on her liver, which I think the vet, even without actually seeing the results of the tissue tests, he thinks that it's probably cancer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I did get a new typewriter case from Teresa.
Oh.
Type Pals. She sent me a case that will fit my Smith Corona 5TE, which did not have a
Nice.
case. So that's nice to have a case.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Is it the holiday style?
It is.
Case?
It's white actually. I'd
Ooh,
never really seen
I've
a
never
white
seen
one.
one. Me neither.
Yeah.
Let me.
Have to show it off, Diane. You can't just tell us.
Well, I didn't open it till last night, and it sat here for 2 days before I actually opened it. Trying to figure out where the heck I put it.
A tower with a white case. That would be the same thing. Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, wow. That's original. That is nice.
that's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I kind of have the blur.
There we
up.
go. We got it. We
Yeah.
got it.
So was it
Very
a special
nice.
edition or was it made for a different company like Sears?
No, that's very common on the early 5TEs. You'd get that white
Okay.
case.
There it is. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't usually do the blur option, but I need the blur option today. So
That's okay.
That looks
because I'm
like in
afraid
great
nobody
condition.
needs to see the details of my messy kitchen or the cat or anything like that. So
That's okay. We're just glad you're here.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so that was a definitely a good pickup there. And yeah, I I'm your cat is in my thoughts. So I know it's challenging. But 21 years, my goodness, that's amazing.
Yeah,
definitely. That's actually a blessing. I one of our dogs, we thought she was going to last forever and she only lasted 10 years. So yeah, so 21, that would have been nice. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh, there's May. How are you, May?
Hey, great. Yeah, joined in a little late, but I had to show off my new typewriter.
Oh,
The
cool.
Olympia SM9, thanks to Larry.
It's so pretty.
It's beautiful. It's as perfect and awesome as everyone says. I can't believe it took this long to finally get my hands on an Olympia, but I'm glad I did. Better late than never. It's probably the best manual typewriter as far as touch and controls and everything. 1.5 line spacing. It can't be beat. It's easy to work on. Just, open up. I'm preaching to the choir, of course, because I'm sure everyone here probably has an Olympia. I'm the only one. It didn't have one for the longest time, but now I do. So I'm in the Olympia club now.
Nice.
And it's cursive as well. It's the 69 cursive. So I can use, the bichrome. I already installed it with matching black and green ribbon, of course, to match the typewriter. Oh, and it's just wonderful. And so I've been typing on it for the past couple of days. I got it Friday, so I've only had it for a couple of days. And thank you, Larry. It's all cleaned up, adjusted. Did you do anything to it, or did it come to you in such great condition?
When the grommets were broken to separate the bottom or the frame from the, I don't remember
rubber
what they're inside. They were all broken. So I tried to find out, ask around online, like collectors and stuff. if they knew the exact dimensions of those, and nobody knew. So I just found some rubber that worked, and it seemed to work.
It works great. Yeah, everything about it, everything's adjusted. It's clean. The rubber is not, too hard. It still feels pliable. So I've just been enjoying typing on it.
I don't remember. I heard you say it's got 1.5 line spacing, but at one space, does the lower hit the up?
No. So here's, this is single right here. It doesn't have the extended characters.
Oh,
so I see. It's bichrome, so it fits in the regular space of standard typefaces. So no, it doesn't touch.
Cool.
Oh yeah, that C doesn't have the descender. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this is a different cursive, which I like.
Yeah.
Because I have the other cursive on Smith Coronas. That script number 75 on Olympia's looks like it's exactly the same as the Smith Corona, and I already have like 3 or 4 of those. So I didn't. This is a new script that I didn't already have as well. So
I had an Olivetti that was really loopy. This an Olivetti that was a little portable on a 32, I think, that was really loopy, and it was I gave it away because I don't know, it was a little too loopy.
Too loopy.
People liked it though. People really liked it.
I like having the variety. I like having all the typefaces, right? And then since our topic, I know it's almost time to go. Our topic is what electric versus one of my favorite electrics. It's too big to probably fit on the screen. Is the Sears. I've shown it off before. The Sears version of the Electra 120, with the return handle instead of the return button. And it's just awesome. It's got a paper injector. It's a few more features than what Smith Corona put on their typewriters.
Is that the Medalist, May?
Yes, it's the Medalist Electric 12. And it just works perfectly. I just had to clean it up a little bit. It didn't even need new belts. It came with the 4-color ribbon, and
that's really cool.
And the international symbols change the type. So this is just a fully
that's
loaded.
That's
this one's regular pica.
And you bought that one from me too. It says right up above it that you bought that from me.
On your screen. I try to be snazzy like Joe and Ted and do the multi-screen. This is a regular pica, which I like. I actually like the standard typefaces most of the time anyway. So I've been a fan of electric. It's probably about 1/4 of my collection are electric typewriters.
Wow. Probably more than most people.
I discovered them early on. Like I got electric, like my 4th or 5th typewriter is an electric typewriter. And I just immediately was enamored with them. And so I've been collecting them ever since. For one, they're a lot cheaper than their manual counterparts. And this one, I think I paid not even $20 for it,
Wow.
So, And most of them are around, the ones I like anyway, the Smith Coronas are usually around, $20 to $50. It's reasonable for me. So that's how I ended up with, I think I have like 9 or 10. I've lost count, 9 or 10 electric typewriters so far, but it's got a nice variety, different typefaces. I even have the 6 CPI electric, which is amazeballs. That's one of my favorites too. I am definitely electric girl as far as typewriters go. I like both, I do like both. I like going back and forth. I like having the variety.
I clearly need to experience a good electric. I only have 2 and they both don't work. So I haven't actually typed on one yet.
I highly recommend the Smith Corona 6 series because they're a little newer. So there's less to go wrong, and they're just as easy to work on as the manuals because a lot of the innards are the same, except for just the power assist on the typing. But you'll recognize a lot of the same mechanics as the manual Smith Coronas, and plus just the way they're built, very high quality, very heavy and sturdy. So not a whole lot that can break or go wrong. Usually it's the plastic tabs and stuff on the top that break.
Exactly.
So, well, thanks for having us and
of course
letting us show off our typewriters and people. I can see some new faces have joined and some familiar new faces because I know Bill you know, and has been around in the typewriter groups. I've seen you for
Yes.
years, and yeah, and Brendan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have another Diane I saw that already left.
Yeah.
That's going to get confusing.
I know. I had to make sure to use their last names.
Last name, yeah.
Yeah. And Larry, you're doing well?
Yeah. I actually this brother correctable was in the Salvation Army for weeks and weeks. And I'm like, I don't know. I did, and there's no cord with it. And it's got this odd plug. And I'm like, I don't need that. And then May wanted this other typewriter. So we ended up doing that. And so I'm like, maybe I'll get that correctable. It's only $14, you know, let's see if it'll work. And I took a regular appliance plug and cut about a 1/4 inch off of it. Don't tell the fire department. But then I made the holes better so it fit, so it fits, and it's got a ribbon in it that'll probably never be able to get another one. And I'm hoping I can replace the ribbon once it goes bad, but it corrects, and it's like a Selectric, and I mean it's cool as anything. And we're talking about electric versus manual. To me, the biggest, that's my, see, no cord, and it costs $14.99, so that's cool. But to me, the biggest thing, I mean, I love electrics too, because they are fast. I mean, that's cool. And like I have Electric 12, I think it is, that's really cool because it does the, you know, you still do the manual return, and I do like that. But this thing here is like, I have a Selectric, and I love my Selectric, but this thing's littler. And it's like I can fit it right here, and it's like, wow, I don't have any other elements except the Pica one that came in it, but it works great and it corrects, and I need correction. I mean, that's definitely true. But this is here it is. I mean, you've all seen them, I'm sure, and they it's just
yeah,
big old plastic IBM, you know, basically, but it's not an IBM, and it's got this cartridge that you can't find anywhere except for $500 for a couple of them or whatever.
Right.
I wonder, that correction tape looks like it's the same as the IBM.
I just stuck some other correction tape in there and it works.
And it worked. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, maybe you can figure out how to pop open the carriage and replace the film ribbon with another brand's ribbon. You may be able to do that.
Yeah, and this, I mean, it works. This is where is it? Is this my song? Yeah, I did this. I mean, it works. This is a song I wrote with it. And I mean, it's, you know, it's not the, it's good actually. I mean, it's, you know, it's not perfect. It's not as perfect as my IBM, but it works well on the correction. You can't tell where I made any mistakes because I corrected it unless I missed something. but I mean, I think it's really cool, and I'm not that worried about it. And
it didn't cost very much, right? Except for the ribbon.
$14.99.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that film ribbon. It's so nice. Yes.
And these were at the thrift store, these correction tapes that fit it, and these are $2.99, and but it's full of correction tape. So like, oops, yeah, it was full until I just dropped them on the floor.
You can make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. See, they comes with a whole box of correction tape.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but more tape than I have ribbon. So
yeah.
Yeah, and I have other correction tapes anyway too. I already had, and then I did something that I was thinking. You know, I bet a lot of people don't think about this. I mean, Bill does, I know, but and a lot of you guys probably already have too. But the casual person that gets a typewriter might not think about it. That you're like, we have an office supply store, and I thought, you know, I needed to go in there for something else one time, and I saw they have stuff. It's an old store, and they have old stuff in there. I'm like, wow, I'm going to look around in there. So they didn't have the ribbon for this, but I didn't have I knew you could still get them, the IBM Wheelwriter ribbons, but I didn't have a source for them anywhere other than online. And I didn't need one at the time. And I was wondering if I'd be able to get one when I needed one. Well, this store had them and I think they were like $6 each, and they had like 6 of them. I'm like, I'm buying 6 of them.
Wow, yeah.
Like, they won't order anymore. I know they won't. And it's like, now I have them. So it's like, wow, that was a lucky find on I thought. So I do have that Wheelwriter 6 that is phenomenal, actually. The way it prints is perfect. It looks like a computer printed it, only better to me. And
Yeah.
and you can erase it. The biggest thing is how big it is, and it, it's huge. It's electric, and they're heavier and big. So I'm not going to move it around. And I like my selector too. My selector, I just have a car. I mean, I don't have a carbon ribbon in it. It's not a correcting selectric anyway. I just have an ink ribbon in it.
Good.
And I love that thing, but gosh, I love correction because I hate making mistakes. I really
I'm the same way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like to leave my mistakes.
It just drives me crazy. And this thing covers it up enough that somehow it helps me mentally feel better. I'm like, wow, I didn't make a mistake.
There you go.
Nobody can tell, so therefore I didn't.
I got you.
Excellent. All right. Well, it's so good to see you, Larry.
Good to see you guys, and thanks for letting me run you over a little bit. And I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's
You know,
okay. I wanted to
the
be sure
Olympia.
and talk to you. So
And Gregory, I did want to say you that like I saw where you cut back an hour, and yeah, I mean you gotta do what you gotta do.
Sleep in.
Okay, but anytime like you feel like not being here, just don't put it on YouTube, and we can still just we'll show up anyway. You know,
that's what we do.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
yeah, there's been times I've done that. So
yeah, I know you have, but don't feel bad about it. Is what I'm saying. Do
Okay.
it if you want. That way you don't feel pressured. You know that. You know.
I appreciate that, Larry.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. And it was very good finally talking to you, Bill.
Likewise. Yeah.
And I hope you come back again soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Very
You're
cool.
one of us now.
Yes.
One
Or maybe
of us.
we're one of you now. Maybe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been in it longer than a lot of us. have.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you next week.
Have a good week.
All right.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Greg.
the
Have a good week, everyone.
Everyone.
Thank
Happy
you.
typing.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.